Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Titansgrave Chapter 2. Last time on Titansgrave, our heroes continued their fight against the strange, amorphous tentacle creatures deep in the caves below Wheelcaster. That's the name of the town. Not forget. And after what was made a relatively short fight, thanks to some pretty good rolls between the party members, they were able to make their way to the surface, where they were left with a bit of a dilemma. What to do now with Fangzi and Aggie, now that they have been freed of their curse and are now on the surface. And so that's where we leave our party there in the morning after, as they now decide their next course of action.
As we all sit here and look around. All right. So yeah, you guys went to bed for the night, just thinking about what the heck in hell you're supposed to do, because I mean, Aggie likes Fangzi, and with any luck, maybe they'd do okay together. But you want to reunite her with her grandmother. You don't want to scare the townspeople. Can't the snake refrain from eating people? Supposedly the stone transformation effect is gone with the absence of the orangey glowing eyes that neither one of them has any longer. It's kind of a tough spot. But morning campfire, morning breakfast has ended, and it's time to talk business. Supposedly.
All right, team, what's the plan? Guess we're gonna go house shopping, so to speak. Maybe find a nice cave for Fangzi and Aggie to live in, perhaps.
Caves are cold.
How far are we from town?
You just asked me a distance question, which means I'm gonna suck at answering.
I mean, it's like you don't have, it doesn't have to be like you're exactly this amount of.
You're about 100 kilometers from town. Wait.
How many inches are we from town?
Let me get out my my conversion calculator.
Too many. But just like roughly, how long would it take to get to town?
Yeah, you're still about 10 or 15 minutes from town. It's kind of where you guys stopped and you're like, we get much closer, people might start to notice us. Well, probably not right now because they're afraid of what's in the forest potentially, but it's the best stopping point before you would decide we're going into town or we're going back to the hillside, kind of like the halfway point. I need to turn the bot down. There we go. So yeah, you're not sure how the townspeople react, or if they'll be able to handle it, or if Aggie can handle the snake or not. They seem to be good friends and kind of look to one another for support. So, who knows? I'm not making the choice easy here.
Well, I still think that the best choice would be one that allows Fengzi to do his own thing a little farther away from town, just so that we don't have to deal with the townsfolk perhaps misinterpreting his intentions or causing trouble. And to answer your issue, Aggie, I'm sure we can find a cave with a nice fireplace.
Yes. Nice fireplace.
Would I stay with him or would I visit him?
Well, that one's up to you. I expect that your grandmother would want you to stay with her in town. But perhaps we can talk to her and have you stay with Fengsy instead if you prefer that.
Well, maybe she could camp with us, like what we did here last night. And then she can get to know Fangsy, and then maybe I can go back to town.
Does the old lady seem like like, is she like really, really old and frail? Or like, is she like spry for her old age? She seem like weak.
I'd say no and no. She's not particularly spry, but she's not handicapped to her bookstore necessarily, although she clearly likes her bookstore. She seems to be a bit of a shut-in about it.
Well, we can definitely ask her and see what she says.
Okay. So, where do we go first?
What a good question. I think we should probably find a spot for Aggie and Fangsy first that they can chill out in, and then reach out to the old lady. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds fine.
So,
Alright,
back off into the trees that you were already in. You go. So, no image is perfect. I don't know if the mountains are quite that exaggerated with their little peaks and such, but maybe they are off that way. You guys are kind of behind the camera, heading away from the view that's right there. Well, if you turned around and went back to the caves. So basically, the caves in this image, the caves are behind the camera taker. But anyways, or not the caves, but the hidden underground place where you found them originally. Some more off to the right, off to the north, where the hills start to crop up a little higher and start to get closer to looking like mountains. Seems like the best place to look. Between scouting yourselves or scouting with, say, like Samson's drone, you should make a pretty good time of, if there's something out there, you'll find it. However, not everyone necessarily needs to go. If somebody wants to go into town to discuss the situation or decide if you guys want to inform that little adventuring group that's still in the town or not, as well as speak to well, you probably should tell them something, as well as the rest of the townspeople. They're going to want to know if you caught whatever was doing that and what's going on with people being turned to stone. And probably talk to the grandmother at some point. The old lady in the bookstore. Or you can tackle it as one big group. I'm just checking to see if you guys are all going to go look for the caves first.
I think we should do it as one big group. That way, we're all searching for a place, and like a couple of us, we'll get it done faster.
Okay. I don't think this is quite perception, like investigation. I think this is more of a survival type check.
Okay.
It's more nature based. Although if you're going to use a drone, that would still be driving.
I think I'd rather use my drone for this purpose then.
So anyone who would like to make a check, please do so, which I think should be everybody. Unless someone is extremely enthralled with their beef jerky and just wants to stare at it lovingly.
Ooh, beef jerky.
or their bacon, or whatever you guys had for breakfast.
Remind me which skill you said.
Survival's the one that's on there, right?
Yes. Sweet.
Bonk. A 20 with 6 stun points.
Good hell.
Not
Decent
bad.
on mine.
Yeah.
It's what happens when you have a +5 in a stat.
Wait, why do you have such high survival?
Because I have put like all my stat points into intelligence, and survival is an intelligence-based
Oh.
check.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So you guys are off into the woods, checking around, looking for proper signs. You want something that's not just, you don't just stumble across and go, oh, look, a cave, because then everyone else is like, oh, look, a cave. So finding one that's either down a little ravine or, sort of off the beaten path is probably best. It isn't very long, and sort of Styx doesn't take the lead, but Styx keeps disappearing and reappearing during your search. Sort of, he'll head off down a little game trail and then come back, or show back up later, rather. And sort of as a group, you all get the idea, and you end up finding there's two different sort of locations that might work well. One of them is, it's kind of like before where you guys found the way that you ended up getting into the underground sanctum from before, which is there's sort of a steeper cliffside thing where if somebody wanted to rock free climb, maybe they could get up there. But otherwise, there's a side path that's kind of hidden in the foliage that you can find that's less steep, so you can actually walk your way up to the top of the hill, to the top of the cliff. And there's it goes back a little ways, and then you have another solid rock face, and this is sort of a steeper mountain climb. But there is a cave entrance there. You don't actually notice it from below. That's actually something that's noted because of Samson's drone that's flying over for the initial, like, is that a cave there? And then sort of sorting out how to get up there and everything else. Now the other one is more, there's sort of a mountain peak, like a spire sort of a thing. It's all pretty low terrain here, so mountain is of course relative. It's not as crazy as the Rocky Mountains or anything. But there's sort of, it looks more like a game trail, like animals have passed through there before, and it kind of spirals its way up the mountain and ends with a cave, which basically is where the peak is. There's like a cave that goes down in just a little ways. Neither of the caves are, you found others along the way, but they weren't really what you want. There isn't enough of them, or they just go on, and you kind of decide to turn back because it's a little too big and unknown. The one that ends with the spire, the sort of the mountain spire home, it almost looks like that the top of the peak had caved in on itself, and that's why there's a natural cave formation there. While it's a little bit steep in spots in the cave, overall it's fairly spacious, and you could definitely set up a nice little campfire in there and things like that. Same thing with the cliffside one. The cliffside one has a little better view in the direction of the town. You can't really see anything of the town from where you're at in either location, however. The mountain peak, the spire cave, if you rounded the cave entrance faces away from the town, but you could circle around the peak and see the town from that other side. So there's two caves essentially, and that's just a matter of figuring out which one you want. Or that Aggie wants, I guess. It's her cave, supposedly. Or Fangsy.
I think I might like the cliffside a little bit better. Just because I think in the winter it might get a little bit treacherous up here. Samson's, of course, referring to like the peak area. Maybe that might be better. I don't know. Angsy, what? Angsy. Aggie. Sorry, I forgot your name for a second. Aggie, what do you think?
Well, it's kind of like my old place. I mean, without, you know, hidden entrances. Although the vines growing over it's kind of cool. It's kind of hard to see that it's here.
Yeah, it seems pretty good. Not too bad. I'm sure we could definitely fix this place up, make it ship-shape for you.
I haven't been over here before. Is there a way I can find my way back here?
I'm sure we could actually probably stack maybe a few cairns or something. Mark out a trail, perhaps. That could work. That way you could find your way back from inside the forest.
Stack a few what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the word you said.
Cairns. It's
Oh,
when people
I just...
like stack flat rocks on top of each other, like in national parks, and like that's called a cairn.
Okay. I as a person did not know that.
Well, there you go. Now you
And
know.
we're gonna go with she doesn't know that either. I should have just been like, what? In person or in character, but it's okay.
You stack little rocks on top of each other. It looks like a little tower. Samson goes
Oh,
around,
I
like
used
rocks
to
near
do
Steve.
that,
Yeah, like that.
but
You could mark out a trail
not
with
too
them.
many. You want anybody else to find it?
No. But enough that you could find your way around, is what I'm saying.
Okay. She turns and looks at Fangzi. Come on, we're gonna go find some big rocks. And she sort of heads off the nearby. You guys can still see them, but sort of off along the rocks, the mountainside, looking for rather big rocks. She actually finds one she likes, and she can't even pick it up. She can like tilt one end of it, and Fangzi comes over and like very gingerly opens his mouth and sort of like scoops the rock up, and they carry it back to a spot and lay it.
You know, I
So
think they'll
they
be able to
seem-
handle
they seem
themselves
busy.
pretty well. Now we just need to see about getting the old lady out here. Huh. Couldn't be hard if we take the side. I don't think she can pluck the cliff face. Should be okay. I think. Do any of you guys want to help me tidy up the inside of the cave here? Make sure there aren't any huge spiders in there or something?
Yes, I'll help with that.
6 will help you.
Okay. We'll go in and just clear out the cave, maybe sweep it up a little bit, make it look nicer, set up like a little fire pit or something.
Okay.
Is it just me, or is Brett cutting out?
No, it's actually you, Connor.
Mm-hmm.
Your picture's
Yeah.
been frozen for a while. Okay.
It looks like
so,
it's me.
Yep. So you guys, just for fun, give me another survival check in there, just sort of tidying the place up.
I'll help out as well.
I'm helping! Like moves a rock.
Yeah, you are.
Were you guys
Let's
dicking?
see, did I? Huh?
Were you guys dicking with me, or was it genuinely
No.
having internet issues there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
were
were.
having internet issues.
Okay, I'm not gonna
okay,
have my
so-
camera on because it looks like my camera just does not like this.
All right. All right. So Silverton starts putting together a good spot for the fire pit and some not horribly uncomfortable rock seating, and sort of looks at Samson and just gestures like, "Do this, do more of this, build fire pit."
Okay, listen, I mean, I spent most of my life in cities, and when I wasn't in the cities, I was out shooting people, okay? Yeesh. Tough crowd.
Don't
Can't
judgment, just this is how you prep a cave.
Well, I'll note that the next time we have to bed down in a cave. Silverton thing.
Perfect.
Meanwhile, and I promise nothing bad will happen, Darvin, I want to have you make something akin to an acrobatics check. Is acrobatics still a thing, or are we just using dexterity for that?
Acrobatics is
Acrobatics is a thing.
Okay, good. Yeah, please roll a fun little acrobatics thing, just
Okay.
because I'd like to see.
fun.
Yeah. If you get a 1, you break your leg. So.
At least in the version of the latest sheet, acrobatics was still a thing.
Yeah, I always fear that I'm gonna say something and have it come from D&D.
I got a 13. Do I need those 5 stunt points to not die?
No, but I will take those 5 stunt points into account, generally speaking.
Now make a dexterity saving throw.
Yeah. No, don't do that. It's okay. So you guys are kind of prepping the inside of the cave, and Darvin's helping out, and then he walks back outside. He says something about obscuring, or better obscuring the cave, and you guys look up from the cave entrance, and you see a couple of pebbles fall from the entrance of the cave just down to the ground. You sort of look at each other. Meanwhile, outside, whoever's still outside, Darvin has some of the vines that were nearby. He's taken to climbing the vines up to where they're growing out of the rock, and is actually, he's not cutting them, but he's like stripping like each vine from one another, sort of untangling them, sorting out where they go, and sort of with a flourish, he kind of Indiana Jones scales back down, and when he lets go, they're actually hanging like over 2/3 of the cave entrance instead of sort of alongside it. So it's very hard to notice.
Nicely done, Darvin. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, that should keep prying eyes away.
Indeed, it should.
Meanwhile, what did you call it again? I'm gonna have to write this word down.
Cairn. Cairn.
When I finally heard what you said, I'm sitting there going, now I'm just thinking of the Cairns area in Utah, and I'm like, well, that's clearly not it. All right. Thank you. Word of the day right there. So she's Agzi, the coalition of the two of them, have finished
That's their
building.
ship name.
Yep, it's their ship name. Have finished building their lovely little marker, which now that sort of has a good landmark to get back to this exact spot. Now it's time to go into town so that Aggie knows how to get there, or go into town and get the grandmother and take her back to where Aggie is.
So, Aggie, do you think Bangsy will be good here by himself?
What? I don't know. Probably. She like looks down at the floor. I'll miss him though.
Don't worry, we'll be back real soon. But I just want to make sure you know where your grandmother is so you can get back to her in case you need her.
Okay, let's do that.
All right, team, let's
I
roll
would
out.
like to see her again.
See you real soon. And then Samson's gonna nod at the snake creature. That big old fangs. He's gonna nod and start walking towards the village.
So you guys go to leave, and Aggie stops, and or she kind of like sees you nod and stuff, but you're just walking back. She stops for a second, looks back at Fangsy, and sort of Fangsy's still outside the cave, but you know, you kind of have already shown them both inside, so they've gone in there. Fangsy's outside the cave, but not following Aggie any further, and she stops and does this like really low bow towards the snake, and the snake kind of like lowers its head down a ways, dips down as well, then raises back up, back to normal, sort of like it was kind of a mutual bow, and it Fangsy sort of turns and looks around the general area and sort of stops watching Aggie. We aren't always together. It's not like we're joined at the hip. And she starts skipping down the trail ahead of you guys. So on to Wheelcaster.
Mm-hmm. Plan.
All right. So working your way back, you arrive on when you come back out into the village proper, you're on one of the side streets. That it's one of the narrower, there's a couple cottages here and there, and then it starts to pick up. You didn't go this way before, but there's definitely not a lot of activity. There's somebody in their backyard working under the edge of their roof, but for the most part, there's not very many people out, which, maybe it's kind of approaching midday at this point. There should be people out and about doing something. So you guys start walking down the center of town. There's people that look at you out the windows, open their shutters, and you notice there's people peering out at you. You walk by one house, and these two guys open it and come out right after you, and they kind of look around. They got smiles on their faces, and they sort of like nod. One of them nods and then waves to you guys, and they just sort of walk along a little ways behind you. Eventually, they turn off and go into a shop that's a little ways from, as you guys are headed towards the center of town. It looks like people are kind of uneasy. Or, somebody was turned to stone, supposedly, and they're a little frightened of what could be in the woods. They definitely feel safer when you're around, or so it would appear. The festivities, the tables and the stage and everything is still set up for the most part. It looks like a little bit of it had started to be taken down, but nobody's working on it right now. And the sort of that's, if you look at the image, you've got town square, which is where it's supposed to be set up, the stage and everything. And under the little bridge between the two buildings is the inn where the other adventuring party is, and so the inn is on the left-hand side, and the other side is where let me double check his name here, Morrison, the de facto mayor guy, the keeper of, I don't know, the town. He lives just opposite in the other building.
While we're nearby, I'll stop by and knock on the door to Morrison's place.
Okay. And sort of down the main road, further down the street further, is where the wagons are pulled off from where you guys rode in originally, and the bookstore is down that street as well. So swinging by, checking in, there's like 3 different people all talking to Morrison. It looks like in his living room. He's sitting, but all 3 of them looks like they were sitting maybe. There's tea on the tables, but they're all kind of animated and all upset talking to him. And you step in and they all turn and look at you and they all kind of go quiet.
Oh, no, keep talking. Don't worry on my account.
Morrison, meanwhile, just looks relieved. He's like, "Oh, please tell me you have some news."
It's done. We've got it taken care of.
Really? Everything's taken care of?
Yes. As it turns out, it was, it had to do with our specialty, really. It was chaos magic. True and bona fide. We got rid of it.
That's good to hear. And he looks at the other people in the room and he's like, "I think it's time that you all went back to your homes. Let everyone know everything is safe now. please. And like one of them clearly doesn't want to leave. They're kind of like lingering by the door, and he says, "Out!" And they hustle out, and he's like, "I would like to know a little more, if I may. Know that my town is safe and protect from this sort of thing in the future."
Well, the best that I can understand it, and believe me, I'm no expert. A Chaos Mage had set up his reliquary inside of a cave system not far from here. It's actually quite elaborate. There was some very advanced architecture down there, and a lot of rather unpleasant beasts. We managed to. It appeared that the reliquary was affecting the biology of some of the local creatures, and that it imbued them with the power to turn people, evidently other creatures, into stone. And that's what was befalling your poor townspeople. We were able to destroy the artifact, though, and now that magic has released its hold on those it was previously controlling. Now that should all end.
That would make sense. Henriksen, he was the one who was turned to stone. He was back walking and, well, staggering and talking. That's what these people came to see me about. They were confused and frightened. Even though I'd say coming back from being solid stone is definitely an improvement.
Indeed, I'm not sure I want to try it myself.
So this reliquary, is it still out there, or did you disable it, or did you destroy it?
Destroyed
Taking
it.
with you?
Yes, I believe. Silverton, did you have that? And of course, Silverton isn't here right. Of course, Eric isn't right here.
That being
But
said,
I
I
know
mean,
you can
he
hear me.
destroyed it so that it wasn't causing an issue, but I don't know if we ever actually established that particular detail.
If he didn't, then I would have picked up like the remaining pieces.
Yeah.
The inert pieces.
But even if it wasn't like specifically established, I think he would have, and so we'll say for the sake of argument that he does have the leftover pieces of whatever's left of it.
Yeah, we'll show it to him, but keep a firm grasp on it, like not let him like grab it or touch it. Show it.
Yeah, let's not have the town mayor become a chaos mage. Trying to turn people in his town into stone.
From what I've learned
takes-
from being here, these are these necklaces. They're common tools of control used by Chaos Mages. They've been known to give them to people that exert control over their mind. So I wouldn't try and touch it if I were. Just to be careful. The magic should be gone, but
Oh no, I wouldn't touch it. Just a sketch for the future. I found the book, by the way. It was, and he sort of gestures over, and it looks like a whole bookshelf is just tipped over, and there's just books everywhere. It's like, I need a new bookshelf, but I found it. He's looks like he's just trying to sketch what it looked like. So he seems fairly settled, or content to do his thing at least. You might want to speak with Vaughn and the others. You didn't find any of the musicians, did you?
Sam's just gonna immediately kind of look straight off into space and zone out for a second, realizing that there is that one statue that's back out in the forest still. Oh.
It was gone when you went back through.
gone.
Yeah.
No, we didn't find them. Unfortunately, they may be dead. If not that, then they are very, very lost in the middle of the forest right now.
That's a shame. But at least it won't plague us any further.
At least your people can rest easy, knowing that they won't be predated upon by magical monsters in the forest at night.
Indeed, I'm sure they will all be quite relieved to hear it, but I wouldn't be surprised if that group that came through was supposed to be watching the musicians originally be the most relieved. They offered to run patrols, and I'm sure they are exhausted.
Indeed. But we'll let them know. Was there anything else that needed taken care of, or any other questions you had?
Oh, not that I can think of. I have been composing some letters. They're almost finished. Official legal business, or as much as passes for in this small town. If you should want for anything that we have to offer here, anytime, it's yours.
We'll make
I'm
note of
sending
that.
one specifically to the inn, to the bookstore, and some of the local shops.
Thank you very much. It's very generous of you.
Offer to take the letter to the bookstore, seeing as we're headed there anyway.
Indeed, that is our next stop.
Oh, fair enough. Let me make sure I have it finished up here. He sort of walks over to his desk. I wish I could give you more. We don't... Not a particularly affluent town.
Worry not, Mayor. We are perfectly equipped. We had very minimal loss. We'll be fine.
Except, one of the characters just magically disappeared for one of the sessions. But it's fine.
That's
More than
Darwin,
one
he
of
does
the
that.
sessions.
Yeah, 2 sessions, yeah. Right,
He's actually...
well,
A plot twist is that Darwin is actually an illusionist mage, and he just turns himself invisible when he doesn't want to fight things.
or he is the big bad villain. He's the big bad
Yeah.
enemy.
He's the big booty evil guy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Well, anytime you pass through here, be sure to say hello.
We will.
We're indebted. Although, I'm sure some of them won't admit it. That's what the letters are for, and he hands you the one for the bookstore.
Alrighty, Morrison. Be safe, my friend. We'll see you around.
You as well. Safe travels.
Turn and head out the door. Start making our way towards the biblioteca.
All right. Onto the bookstore. Maybe a curious glance here or there that you have some little girl following along with you guys, but for the most part, nobody really seems bothered or perturbed out of the ordinary. You reach the bookstore, and the bookkeeper, she's right where she always is, tending to the shelves. Looks like she's putting away the last of the books that were thrown helter-skelter around.
As we walk in, I'll jingle the little wind chime.
Oh, yes, I'm almost done. Just a minute now. She's got, 3 books on one arm. Or in one arm, she's, struggling to slide a book into place.
Oh, yes. Take your time. Take your time.
And she peeks over from around the shelf. It's nice to see you all again. I didn't Who's that? And as it turns out, Aggie's kind of, hiding behind Charlie, hiding, holding onto her leg, just, hiding behind her.
It's all right. And I'm just gonna kind of push her around.
Push her out into the spotlight.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, now, what's your name? And the girl looks at her, and they say at the same time, Agatha. They both say her name. And the grandmother just immediately holds out her arms, and Aggie runs up to her and she crouches down, and they just immediately big huge hug. Almost looked like one of them was going to tip over, and then the other one was going to tip over. She, after a moment, the grandmother, she opens her eyes and she looks at you guys and she says, can this be real? She
Yes,
looks just
indeed.
she looks just the way that she did the day that she left. Or disappeared. She said disappeared, I'm sorry.
And how long ago
That was years
that?
ago. It was years ago. Nagy goes, it's been a long time. It's been too long. I wanted to grow up, but I just couldn't. And the grandmother starts laughing. Well, you'll have plenty of time to grow up now. Were you able to, where were you? How did you survive out there so long and, well, stay so young? I'm just getting older by the day. Maggie's kind of like, looks at her for a second. She's like, I don't know. The grandmother looks at you guys, just sort of questioningly. Clearly,
Yeah.
Aggie's still a little shy about it.
She made some friends, and she stumbled into something rather unfortunate. But we've got it taken care of. She's fine now. Perfectly normal little girl.
Oh, perfectly extraordinary, she says.
That too.
I left your room. It's just like you. Well, we might want to take a duster with us. Nagy's like, okay. And they just sort of, I mean, you guys are there, but it's almost like you aren't anymore. And they just go behind the counter, turn around, and they're gone.
Well, I think that's our job out of the way, guys. I think we should probably go tell the adventurers about this, and we should probably go and buy a last round of supplies before we head off back to Nestora. Sound good?
Yeah. Let's get this over with.
You guys exit the bookstore, and the wagon master's about to walk into the bookstore, interestingly enough, for your wagon train, and he's like, oh, well, there you are. It's been, well, like you're like a day over. And he like looks around, and he's like, I left my ledgers back at where have you been?
Sorry, we had a little bit of a side excursion. A little
Yeah,
bit of work.
fighting stone monsters is not fun.
Well, considering who's paying for my transportation, if I don't bring you guys there, I don't get paid. So, clearly you're headed somewhere. Please hurry it up. We have places to be.
Indeed, we'll be at the rally point in just a few minutes. We need to take care of a few things first, and don't worry, we'll leave on time.
Yes, that would be quite agreeable. And he sort of mutters and walks away. So last stop is the inn.
Basically, yeah, the inn. Checking the adventures.
Yeah. So you guys get back there, and the inn's not exactly quiet. There's sort of the mouthy guy from their group from earlier, Walt. He's like pointing furiously at maps and seems to be under the impression that everyone around him are fools and incompetent. He says, it's not that hard to read a map. See, look, this is the... And he's like, trying to give them landmarks and things. So you would patrol down this street, and the Orchary? That's such a strange name for a road. Yes. He's just kind of going on. He's trying to get people to form their own little neighborhood watch groups. Walt, sort of the leader of that group, Walt finally makes it, or not Walt, excuse me, I just said Walt. That was the dummy who's yelling. Vaughn, the leader of the group you're looking for, he actually walks in the door behind you guys. He's like, I saw you were back. Isn't this timing? How is everything?
Finished. You won't have to worry about people being turned to stone anymore.
That would be good. Now I don't have to worry about receiving payment that we're probably not going to get either. Although, free room and board has been nice. Why? Was it chaos magic?
That it was.
Forgive me, but I think I'll just hold on to the chills I've got on my spine and get out of this town. Thank you. He sort of waves to Walt. He's like, well, that's my cue. Sorry, guys, gotta run. And he just leaves, like mid-briefing of whatever they were trying to plan there. He like scampers back up to his room. I think, let's see, that's, do you have any additional mapping of the area? We do travel through here occasionally. It would be nice to know where things are.
I have a few points on my data pad. I could help you.
That would be good, thank you. You guys sort of step to the side and discuss that. The inn door has opened twice while you guys have been talking, with just people coming in and out. It almost looks like they're using the inn as sort of a meeting point for their neighborhood watch that they've been setting up. As you guys are about wrapped up and ready to leave, the last of the group that you recognize, Liz, who was played the music with Charlie before, she steps back through and about walks into you guys as you're leaving. Oh, how goes the search? And we're just gonna sit here and say nothing.
Were we searching for something originally? Sorry, it's been a few weeks since we've been in
No, you're
town.
good. Well, it was like the search to see what did that to him and that sort of a thing.
Okay.
What turned the guy to stone and such. I don't smell any chaos magic on you.
Chaos magic has a smell?
Well, I don't know. I haven't had any experience with it.
Yeah, everything went fine. We found the amulet with... Fuck.
Yeah,
She leans in and she's like, well, not right now, but maybe later.
I knew it.
Well, I'm glad that it's been sorted out. Well, at least I'll sleep better tonight. Also, I believe there was a wagon master that was yelling something about being late. I don't know if that has to do with you guys, but I better let you go. You guys can hear me, right? I don't have audio issues, right? Okay.
I hear you fine.
Nobody's saying anything, so all right.
And Samson's over discussing map shit with the other dude, so.
Oh, yeah.
I've kind of been making Styx less and less vocal because he's becoming more and more bored with what's going on.
Indeed. And she looks at you guys, or she sort of goes to brush past you guys, and she's like, well, maybe I'll run into you again sometime. And sort of nods to the group and goes over and slaps Walt on the back of the head, just for no particular reason. They're sorting out their nonsense. All loose ends are tied up as much as they're going to be. So I think it's time you guys head on out. Unless there's anything else you'd like to do.
I'm good to head out.
I think that's
So
all I
am
need.
I.
All right. Back on the wagon train, headed to your end goal destination, Nestora. The city where they don't tear down the ruins of old, but build inside of them, add to them, repair them, upgrade them. It's a part of their history, but as a result, there are still some burnt out buildings on the road to Nestora. Fortunately, unlike some unpleasant previous experiences you had, there are no illegal toll road booths There's no shady business or tricks that you encounter along the way, which is a relief. There have been a few attempted hold-ups, stick-ups, whatever you want to call them, along the road before. And you guys make it into town. Now I'm going to give you guys some imagery so you know what's going on here. We have, first of all, the map of part of the city of Nestora. This map image was huge, and Roll20 wanted to, I don't know, probably strangle me. So I just gave a smaller image, and it was much happier. So you guys come into town on this road up here near the top, which, no, you don't. That's the dump. Let me get my bearings. You actually come in down here, which is much nicer than walking through the dump, because that would be stupid. It looked like trees. It's not trees, just in case you're wondering. So you guys come into the east end of the city, and where you guys are headed is, let me grab some documents here. Your end destination, which you had to double check with Mr. Galdrin, I've had a lot on your guys' mind. You're headed for the Strip. Now, the Strip is a large, fenced-in field in the Nest. The Nest being sort of the science and research, scientific advancements section of the world, or of the city, rather, of Nestora. Magical automation is huge here, as well as technological as well. And in the Engineers Hub, not only do they focus on that and rare technology and new methodologies, it's also a testing ground for those, whatever contraptions they have. And there are times, including today, where there are people pressed up against the fencing surrounding the area, with people shouting and calling out bets, which probably isn't legal, but who cares? They're watching a fight take place at the moment against one of the mechanized security, large security mechs that they have on premises. Just 2 arms, 2 legs, giant warhammer. But it's facing off against something. It's hard to make out what it is. There's enough people as you're going by, but it appears to have 4 legs. It's hard to catch what the material is, but it seems to have teeth or a mouth of some sort. And there's another section of the field. There's like 2 people like glance over near in that direction. Nobody's really watching. Some other experimentation going on. It looks like that there's some sort of failure in the field. Somebody's frantically trying to repair it. It looks like there are panels of observers or possibly judges or something of that nature further in the structure. And you guys are following the fence around to where there's a gate to actually let you in to the facility as a whole. This is where Styx is supposed to go to present his golem, show what it's capable of doing. Front check-in gate, everything goes nice and smooth, and in you guys go. Your job is to escort him until relieved of duty via Styx, in fact, which Styx is looking for the proper arena, which he eventually reaches. Well, arena, testing ground. There are several people standing at the doorway expectantly. One of them's checks chronometer they have. They look a little impatient. But they recognize Styx and a golem marching towards them and sort of turn and whisper to one another and look back as Styx approaches. You guys are just behind him. We were beginning to think you weren't going to show. We won't be put late for this. You'll have to get on with the demonstration as soon as possible.
Yeah, I understand. Let's get going then.
We are most interested to see what you have for us today. For these breakthroughs of true There are several interesting buyers, some of whom will be in the observation box already. So please, this way. And they sort of walk through the set of doors, which like immediately close behind them. There's a separate door for observers if anyone else wants to join in the observation. And yes, it is unlocked because there's somebody wearing a hood and sort of glances at you guys and immediately turns away like they don't want you to see who they are. It's kind of rather a suspicious move, but they enter the observation box too with others who are probably already in there.
Sure, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll go into the observation room.
All right. So, the hooded person's sort of at the far end of the little observation area that you guys are standing in. There's a few other people there as well. Some of them have clipboards or data pads of some sort, binoculars and the like. There are Styx is already sort of doing some final examinations of his golem, and then steps back away, and the golem sort of acts almost like it's limbering up or something of that nature, preparing for combat. And you hear a voice echo through, beginning the testing phases now. I think we'll skip the first few. They're pretty basic. If they can handle those, then, well, then you've probably passed the process. Yes, let us continue. And you sort of hear, and there's a gesture further away. Door opens, and several smaller, like almost as tall as a halfling, little robots come out. There's about 6 of them, and they have little shock arms that they're sort of arraying around the robot to engage with it. And basically over the course of the next few minutes, you watch all of those little shocking droids get just absolutely demolished. And different waves of different sized machines and robots of different varieties and classes. Occasionally the golem does take a bit of damage, during which time they call a recess for repairs to be made, whatever repairs can be made in the field. And for the most part, there's a little wear and tear that's starting to show in spite of those repairs on the golem. But it's just test after test, different scenario after different scenario, and eventually it turns into live tests where there are mages who are attempting to combat it with different spells, but they have several layers of some protective spells of their own, where they're not so much they're not really taking hits, they're not injured by the attacks, but the attack, you can still see the force of the attacks, and after one of those attacks is made, the mage will back off, and occasionally make notes on a data pad before stepping back up and continuing. When all of the tests have concluded, the golem has lost function of its fingers in its left hand. However, it is still standing on both legs, capable of moving, and it's completed all of the tests most satisfactorily. It looks a little patched up at this point. You hear, most impressive. We did not expect it to stay standing through all of the tests we had slated for it. Once again, you have exceeded expectations. We'll be with you to discuss the details in meeting room 4 in 15 minutes. And that's sort of it. Styx leaves through a different door from the arena, not back out the way he came. Unless Styx wants to say goodbye. I'm not going to rob you of that if you want to do it.
I guess I'll pop out and say goodbye to the people who have escorted me. Make sure that they understand that they're dismissed, that they have achieved their goal, that they're not completely incompetent.
All right. Now, the job was contracted through a third-party contact, and all you need to do is contact the So it was done through a third-party contact, but it was tied back into the Divide's watch, which several of you have been under the employ of time and again, or pretty consistently, depending. So you know that that's where you need to go for payment, is to the Divide's watch headquarters. That's where your job was contracted for, and the previous job as well.
All right, let's go cash out, shall we?
Yes, please.
And we'll head off over to the Divide's watch offices.
All right. So that would be number 66. Divide's Watch. The Watch is one of the largest private investigator firms in Nestora, and it is rumored that they have information, personal data, whereabouts of every important person in the city. But no one's able to corroborate that is true or not, including those of you who work with the organization. But their information is usually good, especially when it comes to important people. They're considered better investigating, a better private investigation firm than the local police force, basically. And therefore, so are the rest of you, to some extent, if you've done investigative work before. So, that's where you guys are headed. Your particular group, they usually contact in regards to chaos magic to look into. So your meetings there are basically like, all right, it's time for the standard round of questions, but it's not a, here, fill out this form or this report, but it's also not a, we're going to take you into a padded room by yourself and ask you questions. It's more, surprisingly, it's more relaxed, mostly because you guys are trusted, you guys have done this before. So it's just opposite a desk of somebody in a room where there's other people opposite of desks, so you guys are all in the same big room, and there's people just kind of conversationally asking you how it's going and stuff. Some of the people in the office there, getting the details from you, and arranging the payment. Now, this payment includes the previous cultist group that you guys encountered and eradicated right at the beginning of the campaign, as well as escorting Styx. They are most interested in any materials that you have recovered from your experience, which does include the mysterious necklace, if you choose to say that you have it still. They're willing to let them take a look at it. In this case, this would be Silverton.
Yeah, I would definitely let them know. I was actually about to ask, would I talk to the desk jockey basically about this stuff, or would this be a, hey, I need to talk to the leadership kind of thing?
Being just about the necklace, or about like relating to the effects the necklace had on people?
Kind of both. And also I think Silverton would report the incident with his brother Aaron, but would want to have that be like a need to know kind of thing.
More confidential.
Yeah.
You've done ops before where there's classified information that someone higher up needs to know, and you can basically make that known in the interview and say, further details. They basically make note, further details refer to so and so. So after you're done talking with them, they're kind of like, all right, I'll see if we'll see if the boss is around, basically.
Okay,
the
perfect.
People that work with the more secretive information.
Mm-hmm.
So basically you can be completely debriefed there. They don't immediately recognize or identify this particular necklace either. It seems to be a unique design. But they are interested in holding on to it to see if they can find some more information about it, given the ability to examine it. Proper precautions taken, of course.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, the one thing I have never done in campaigns, for one reason or another, is payment for jobs well done. And so I would appreciate some input there for this one to kind of sort out how that would
I
work.
think Brett gave a rough breakdown of that. It should be in the rules compendium somewhere.
Oh,
It's in your
okay.
DMs now, Jake. I screenshot the table.
Thank you. Because I was thinking, I'm like, I feel like there might have even been something on that, but I wasn't able to find it earlier, and I kind of had to ditch that and work on other aspects.
Oh yeah, I put it under trade and currency.
Okay, perfect. Also, I believe now that this current assignment is done, you guys are, between giving the rest of that information and the materials to the higher-ups and that sort of a thing, there's sort of a break of, okay, he's in a meeting, you'll have to wait. So you guys have time to go shopping in the meantime, if there are any materials that you guys are after, so we can take a look at that as well.
Samson wants to go looking for guns. Looking for a submachine gun.
Yeah, Silverton, I think, is also interested in getting an energy weapon. Just for some more damage variety.
All right, perfect.
I think Charlie will follow Silverton. Wherever he ends up.
Darvin will go with Samson. Like, I don't really need anything, but just...
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, perfect. All right, so after these jobs have been completed, in the pay between everything, so we're doing, what does SP stand for? It's like
Silver
silver
pieces.
points. Silver pieces. I always think silver points. I'm like, that's not right. So I'm gonna say it if I don't get you guys to say it first. So, between the two jobs, the delivery one was a bit less than eradicating a group of cultists. But at the end of the day, you guys are paid quite nicely. It's $550. I almost said silver points again. 550 silver pieces for the party as a whole, and it's actually more than the listing originally said, due to the addition of. It was at first Charlie wasn't sure she was going to be able to make it into the previous to eradicating the cultists, but sort of a slot opened up and they actually increased the pay to accommodate that, which was helpful for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 110 silver pieces for each of you if you split it equally, which because this particular job was the way it was contracted, that's how much each of you get, hands, straight up.
Wait, hang on. So Styx gets paid for escorting Styx?
Wait.
There's only 4 of
No,
us. I fucked up. I
There are
accidentally.
4 of us that took this job.
Yeah, there are
Right,
4.
I'm counting people in the conversation here, so I'm not doing any better.
Actually,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's Radio Theta. I counted Radio Theta as a player. Whoops. That'll do it.
got 137 per.
137.5.
0.5, yes.
Yeah. Styx wasn't part of the equation for either of those either of those paying jobs.
Mm-mm. So do you want to stick with the 110 each and just scale the total number down, or?
We'll do 125 each. We'll
Okay.
mathematically equate that close enough.
Alright.
When you guys built your characters, did you have money to begin with?
Whatever's left over from character generation, you get to keep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure most of us. I think Styx was about the only one that had leftover cash from our character gen, though.
Samson did as
I think
well.
everyone.
I had 20 silver pieces left over.
Okay.
Not a lot.
Actually, still had 155 left over because I didn't really get much in the way of equipment.
Oh, nice.
Same here.
Yeah, I went ham on the armor, so I
Yeah.
spent a lot.
I just got like basic armor, a pistol, and a staff, and that was about it.
Well,
So
now's our chance to really trick ourselves out.
what's the deal with money? Should I look into the rules for that, or are we doing it based off of like gold, silver, and copper, or is it
It's
just
base. Silver is
highest?
the base. Silver is the base. Then there are what are called 10 pieces, which are worth 10 silver each. But all prices are going to be stated in terms of silver pieces.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep it really simple and clear. In the Titansgrave, the season 1 thing they did, I think they had it be, they were saying 5 gold, and I'm sure that equates to 10 or 100 silver or something. But we're not gonna worry about it. We're just gonna run off silver, so it's just one number set to deal with.
Sounds good.
I
Nope,
also
we'll go to the door,
personally
I'll be right
suspect
back.
that has something to do with Will Wheaton just having like gold in the back of his head and not really paying attention to the world building as much. But
Yeah.
it's not important. It's not important.
Indeed.
So, Brett and Jake, I just gave you guys a copy of Derek's character sheets.
Noted.
Indeed.
I will get Jake a copy of his backstory and that information at a later date once it actually exists.
Yep, that sounds good. So you guys are shopping in the ranged weapon department, yes?
Mm-hmm.
I would be open to a melee weapon, but I was primarily thinking like a rifle.
I have... Oh my god. You know, the Discord search function is absolute garbage sometimes. I have not... So, Brett, I haven't done a great job of saving down all of those tables, and so I have to scroll back up to find them. And you have made a few updates to them. Is there an officially released...
I have not updated
table,
the
or is it
ranged
still in?
weapons since the last time I sent it to you.
Okay. What was it called? Because ranged and weapon are not pulling up anything.
That should be called ranged
you
weapons
don't-
V3. Here, I'll send the table to you. Let me send you the table.
Yeah, just toss it to me again.
It is still in the thingy.
Oh, it's in the... Okay. That would be better.
Here,
Yeah, there it is. I
can-
see. That's why I was looking, because we've been testing and discussing some specialty things, and
Yeah, I did
was
change like the
looking in the direct
company,
conversation.
the company name. I've changed.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't been noting company name on any of the weapons.
I think that's more a world building thing. As players, I don't think it affects anything of us.
Unless you have a grudge with one of the companies.
Maybe it's part of your backstory because they are real. But that's not important. Not for us.
Indeed. So, let me take a look here. So the nearest, there are sometimes weapons sold by the Voss group in their, near some of their facilities. But a lot of times, a lot of the weapons are actually sold across the river, which is a little bit of a pain. It's kind of out of the way and far to go. You know, take a while to get there and back, and it shouldn't be too terribly long. But the Voss group does have a supply of some of the weapons. So, if I can get the topic, you guys are looking at, you guys are looking for energy-based weaponry for the most part, which the Voss group actually prefers, or at least their corporate headquarters prefers it.
Samson is looking for a submachine.
I'm
Indeed.
personally not looking for anything like in particular. I'm just shopping with the boys.
Okay.
Making it rain.
Oh yeah.
And
know
then
it.
immediately looking around and picking it back up again.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, sorry.
That's mine. It's all mine.
I just always wanted to do that. Sorry, I'll pick it up.
Careful with showing off all that money, Silverton. Pickpockets are everywhere.
Oh, that's all right. I'm really good at crushing fingers.
That you are. Now I just need to find a local tag deal. Shit, they're probably on the far side of town. I don't know.
So let's see, Silverton, are you looking for any particular type of energy weapon?
Yeah, light rifle that does energy damage.
Okay. So, sort of checking around the Voss Group's things, they have lots of friendly loan companies and things that you know are not to be trusted because they'll definitely jab you for more than it's worth. And a lot of their standard, get hired out as a courier and different things. But there is still a weapons shop, and there's several security personnel standing outside. Inside, they've got cameras up. It's the Voss Group. Scrutiny is their favorite word. They do have like a full rack of rifles. The IR-22 light rifle, which is definitely along the lines of what you're looking for. It's energy based. Range is 40 to 120. What is that, feet? Yeah, we're doing feet. I always fear I'm going to say the wrong thing, so instead I'll just hesitate instead. The one nice thing about these particular rifles that they're selling is that they're nearly silent. So they have a little bit of a stealthy approach to them as a result.
It's the rifle Samson uses, by the way.
Indeed. The markup, having them be sold by the Voss Group in here, they talk about them and they're all nice and shiny. They get their special, chrome-plated optics and detail work. So, I bought this from the Voss Corporation. I got this from Voss Group, and it's fancy as a result. So they, that their stuff is marked up higher than it needs to be, but it's also in pristine quality at the same time.
Alright, so as I'm looking at it, I realize that all of the light rifles have a dexterity requirement. And yeah, Silverton has a dexterity of 0.
So you can't use them.
So those are off the table. So rules question for you, Brett. On the paladin thing, it shows that I have proficiency in heavy melee weapons, shotguns, and light rifles. Does that mean that pistols are off the table?
You can
just wouldn't
use
have-
a weapon. Yeah,
You can use them. You're just not. You won't be able to add your proficiency bonus to the attack roll.
So you'd only get the dexterity bonus to attacks with it.
And any modifications done to the gun.
So if
The
there's a
same being
dexterity,
true for a light rifle that I don't meet the requirement for.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm not buying anything then.
if you don't meet the dex requirement, can you not use it, or is it just a detriment to you in some way?
It would be...
Well, even if it was as simple as me not getting the proficiency bonus, that means my attack bonus on that gun is a +0. So I'm not going to bother.
Okay.
I'll stick with what I got.
Yeah, Derek will be a light rifle user.
That's going to be really confusing, by the way. Having a character named Derek.
I can
All you have to do is
change-
miss the letter D, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's Eric.
Right.
If you desperately want, I can come up with another name. That just happened to be the name that popped into my head when I was coming up with the character.
It might be nice just to avoid confusion.
Okay,
Maybe change it to something similar like Darren. I don't know.
I also continuously think of like a Barbie movie, like male protagonist. Oh, Derek, Prince Charming. I'm saying,
well, that is definitely not the character I am building. I can tell you that much. Okay, I will come up with another name for him then.
Hi, I'm Barbie, and this is my boyfriend Ken, and this is Ken's boyfriend Derek.
Well, I can tell you this much, I'm definitely not going for the name Ken.
All right. So, yeah, it's kind of, for the most part, the only remarkable thing at the moment is the weapons, and not anything too crazy there, unless Charlie has one that catches her eye. They have some pistols as well. They have the latest model of energy shotgun. They don't actually have any SMGs, which is interesting. And actually, the person running the counter, let's see, yeah, person running the counter, Samson, looking for an SMG, not seeing any of any kind. It's like, hey, what's the deal with that? The lady behind the counter is like, oh, I'm sorry, hon. The Nest has forced a variety of new restrictions on trade to the general public, including all the way out here in Central. Much to the dismay of the Bureau of Utilities. Unless you've got official licensing or proper vendor certificates, we can't buy and you can't sell. We're not legally allowed to, at least for the next 48 hours. They're still working through the paperwork. Ironically, I hear the slums over in Karavi are... they've seen quite an influx of banned weapons and equipment. More dangerous than ever. I can only imagine what the more civilized areas are like.
did you say that I was talking to this lady?
No. Samson was.
is.
Okay, I apologize.
I'll just nod at her. Thank you for the information. I'll definitely make sure to not go over there. And Samson's going to leave the building and immediately start going towards the Karavi slums.
So, the Karavi district borough, Karavi borough, I believe is the term that they like to use. On the way back there is the watch, so it might be good to swing back in there, get your final, any other questions they may have for you now that the higher ups had a chance to look over the interviews or, debriefings, and at least when Eric gets back, they actually told you guys to stick around if you don't have anything going on, of course, because they have another potential job right now to offer as well. So I'm going to take a brief moment till Eric returns to get my ducks in a row. Make sure we're good here.
All right, I am back.
That
Food
green screen,
arrived.
indeed. That green screen effect was really interesting because it literally looked like you just tore through space-time and appeared all at once. It was kind of cool.
Nice. God.
Beat me up.
Haha.
Sorry, what was that, Amelia?
Beam me up, Silverton.
There's the character sheet with the corrected name. It's no longer Derek.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's see. Perfect. So anyways, well, the Karavi Borough sounds like the place to be to get the weapons that are currently banned everywhere else. buy them up for a low price because nobody wants them, and then sell them high or whatever. But on the way back, you guys stop back by Divide's watch, and some of the watch team informs you after sort of the more intricate or sensitive information's been recorded. They ask you all to stick around if you have nowhere else to be, and then pretty quick they call you guys back in. I originally was thinking that since Connor wanted to do a new character, I originally thought maybe you'd run into him somewhere, but maybe it'd be better to toss him into your guys' group now. So that way Connor's not sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would probably be best.
So while you may not have a ton of information, Connor, feel free to introduce yourself, because your character is also in this waiting room waiting for our next job briefing, potential offer sort of thing.
So you'll notice in one of the corners a childlike figure. It is not a child. It is a halfling. You can see he's been through some shit, because he has a prosthetic left arm, and more than half of his face has had to have some mechanical prosthetics applied to it. You do not know what has caused this. You just know he looks like he has been through hell. This character's name is Horus. He was a mercenary before he ended up here. His entire group was killed off by Chaos Mages. That is my motivation for being here. His entire mercenary group was basically wiped out, and in the event, he was hit by a massive spell that took his left arm and severely damaged the left side of his face. He is carrying 2 light rifles, because of course he is, and wearing scout armor.
All right.
I should probably also mention he is the god of dumb luck.
All right. So this guy exists in the room. You might get a little of that information out of him, but in general, probably not too much. He's probably fairly quiet. The job offer, mission briefing person comes in. They appear to be a little new. They're not one of the regulars that you guys have gotten before. But they seem to get right down to business. They come in and they're like, so I'm sure you've heard by now, there have been a lot of new weapon sanctions. They're trying to control some of the concealable weapons or some of the more often used in violent crimes around here. We don't agree with this legislation if for no other reason than forcing it underground does not solve the problem. And in some cases seems to have put it into the hands of some of the more dangerous. A lot of these weapons are being funneled into Karavi, which poor and impoverished area has a lot to complain and find gripes with. And while we're not right on the border, there are parts of Central that are, which means it's our problem. But this isn't only a local matter. This is more a heads up that this is also going on. Because your objective, should you choose to accept it, of course, your assignment is this. We have gotten reports from some of the gang activity before this legislation came up. There is a lot of gang fighting, infighting amongst each other, which has always been the case. But there's been an influx of magic. There's been magic, there's been firearms, fire blasts, you name it. It's pretty standard down there. It's a little rough, actually. But there have been scattered reports of very strange spells being used, and some of these spells corroborate with known chaos mages in the past. Some of these spells we have not seen in a long time. As in, I had to go into the archives back 200 years to find the last encounter of one of these spells. So yeah, there's weapons being funneled in there, but that's not the problem. The that they want you to go in there. They're just letting you know the situation. The problem they have is that these gang wars are getting a little bit extra violent. It started before that, and there have been spells congruent with chaos magic used over 200 years ago. So very old. Someone's teaching them, or there's a book, or an artifact, or a rogue group has entered, or something. They don't know what, but they want you to go in and find out, and then find out if they're connected to something outside of the city, or if this is a local affair. That's what they'd like you to stop, because it could get out of hand. It could kill a lot of innocent. Or they could rally everyone to start riots, which not only is bad for Divide's Watch, who's not too far away from the slums, but Nestora as a whole. So it's a matter of, city-state security as well as the chaos magic side of it. And the person came from the Voss group, so they're like, so that's your mission, and then they're like, should you choose to accept it, you're not contracted to do this. But that's the basis. And then they also remarked that you are welcome to purchase and remove any weapons off any of the shelves of vendors over there that are not supposed to be there. It's better in your hands than in someone else's.
Well, it's just another thing to check off my list since I was planning on going to the area anyway. We'll take the job.
All right. So, formalities, documents, signatures, and such, and you're on your way. Now, Nestora is a very melting pot-like region. Not that everyone's necessarily equal in all areas of the city, but it was originally founded by human settlers, but everybody else wanted a piece, and pretty soon everybody had one, and it's one of the most diverse cities you can find. It has a slew of problems, but there's also a lot of advancement that's been made here by the Voss group and others. The nest is also threatened by Karavi's Chaos Mage entities, because the nest is where a lot of the research takes place. The nest houses the golem research and development stuff that Styx was working with in all of the testing grounds. So it's really bad news if the slums start to fall apart or have hostile forces rally together. Another thing that you guys know of Kiravi is it's not all shitty houses slums, especially towards the outskirts and the closer you get to the dump, the more that is the case. However, initially, it looks jam-packed, it doesn't give off the vibe that it's poor necessarily, but it definitely feels like you've stepped from a luxurious, like, mid-city to heavy, dense downtown layout, just buildings packed in. And there's a lot of neon, there's a lot of lights or the equivalent of neon. There's a lot of holographic displays and lights and signs. There's a lot more people with augmentations, either replacement limbs from injuries they've sustained or just general body mods. There's a lot more mechanized components on people around here, or more people are likely to have them. There are people actively using robots or magic in some way to help them repair things or attach signs to walls, and just it's very in your face around here. A lot of Nestora, they caution stripe things off, they keep people back, they put up shielding. Here it's just kind of everyone's doing their own thing and stay out of the way. Now there's a section of one of these streets, which is the only other lead you have is one of the places to meet. Initially, there's supposed to be some of the members of Divide's Watch already looking into this, which is how you have the information you do so far. You're supposed to meet them in a bar. I have the name of it. This was where my preparation ran out of time, but let me let you know here.
So, new guy. How long have you been working with the Divide's Watch?
Not very long. I ended up here after my group got killed.
Very unfortunate. You have my condolences.
Happens occasionally in the merc business, but I don't like it. I have to look for new work now, and I like those guys.
Indeed. So what are you good at? What can you do?
Shooting things, finding things, scouting ahead, that type of deal.
Sounds like we'll get along just fine then.
Yeah. Oh, I should also probably mention, my merc name was Dumb Luck. I'm not brightest tool in the shed, but I'm really lucky. Both bad luck and good luck.
Hopefully that luck will extend to us. At least the good kind. Still bad. Anyway, I'm Samson. I come from a faraway place, but the main thing you need to know is don't lie to me, and I won't have to shoot you in the head. The rest of the group, we've got Silverton, right here. He normally doesn't talk too much, but let me tell you, he can seriously kick some ass. You should see what he does as some Chaos Mages. There's not much left of him afterwards.
Oh, you guys hunt Chaos Mages. Good to hear.
And the hunting is good. This right here is Darvin, short guy right here. Nice long beard on him. Something to be proud of, I guess. He and Silverton go way back, like way back, like years and years. He's an adamantist mage, if you know what that is. He does like shields and shit. It's really cool, really helpful, really cool guy.
We'll be honest. Know nothing about magic.
That makes two of us.
About most I know is I managed to find some liquids and stuff that I mixed in with my ammo to make it a little bit more magical.
Hey, well, I'll have to ask you more about that. And then last, right here, we got Charlie. She used to hang out a lot with Gypsy then? She used to be on the road a whole bunch, but we've seen her only a couple of times. She normally doesn't join us for these long missions, so I don't know what changed, but I guess after this this past job, you just can't get enough of us, huh? Can you, Char?
I cannot.
Wonderful. So that's the group.
Been on the road myself since I left my little hovel. Yeah. Good to meet y'all. Hopefully we'll work our way up together. We'll be honest. Chaos Mages can go fuck themselves. They're the reason I don't have a merc group no more.
On that, we can agree.
Alright, so by this point, you guys have reached the border and have entered Karave proper. And it doesn't look like slums where you've entered, as I described before. You're actually in... you're on this major street that runs all the way across the entire... It stretches the full length. And this street is known as the Electric Tapestry, because there is so much signage and advertisement. And let's see, there we go. Now all of you can see it. It's tight and busy. Although the road isn't. This is one of the narrower points. It does actually widen a little bit on this street, but this is as wide as the streets get. Most of them are back alleys, and they're very narrow. Everything's tight corners. Again, variety of people. machines, the whole works. People always trying to offer you and sell you things. So far on this main road, however, there aren't any weapons. There is, partway down, somebody's like, "You want some contraband weapons? You guys look like you could use them." And he talks so quiet you almost can't hear him.
Maybe.
And
What do you got?
well, everything that's been banned and some of it that hasn't.
Looking for an M5. Got one?
I might.
How much?
Surprisingly little.
Come on, man. The
Whatever.
coin. How many coins?
You know what list price is.
That I do.
Only 5 silver over.
Show me you got it. You've got a deal. I need to see it first.
Well, it'd be right down this street here. I can't be showing them on the main road. Somebody sees, and then it's all over.
Samson's gonna like turn back and kind of look at the rest of the group, and then he'll like slowly move down the alleyway.
Silverton will head along behind, trying to look like maybe Samson's bodyguard.
Nice.
So, a heads up to you guys. I have decided to, because this is one of those types of missions, I've been doing private roles. So, because I'm not, as I said, I'm not a bright person. Guys, aren't we supposed to be taking those things off the streets?
You fucking moron!
I did say I was not the brightest tool in the shed.
I should have known you would have been a fucking snitch. Who have you been working for? Huh? Did I get pull one over on me?
No, but wasn't that what we
Tom,
were
get him
just
out of
hired?
here. Get rid
Wasn't
of
that
him.
what we were just hired to do?
Go and teach him a lesson.
I will grab him by the collar
What
and
the fuck is this?
lead him away.
I'm gonna go with them.
I'm gonna cast message, targeting Samson, and just say like, "Do you want me to follow at a distance? Keep an eye on you."
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if I don't think this guy's gonna fucking buy it, but it's what I can hope. Keep an eye out.
All right, I'll keep my distance so that he doesn't. Hopefully, he doesn't notice me.
Let's see. I liked the way you handled that, Brett. I like the way Samson handled that, but I need a roll of convincing.
That would be persuasion because I removed deception because it's.
Isn't
Yes.
it performance? Wouldn't that be performance?
Oh, that could be performance. It could be performance. Yeah. Same mod for me, but.
As I said, my character's not the brightest, so I am going to in
Oh,
situations
yes!
where I'm
Oh,
supposed to be intelligent.
Thank the
I
gods.
am going to do private roles and see, like, do I make the stupid move here or do I keep my mouth shut?
Yeah,
What are you
keep doing it.
explaining about?
That's an 8. It's an 18.
Okay, so, the guy's like, "I trust you'll take care of your boy after this."
He's history. Now the guns.
Never been so close to being found out before. This is invigorating.
They're
This
everywhere.
way?
The Divides Watch is looking out. You have to be careful. Lead on.
So he takes you further back. He's nodded or made gestures to like 3 different people as he's going back, and ends up at a old, like, beat up looking like miniature dumpster, and he reaches around over to the backside where you can't see and acts like he's pressed a button or something and lifts it back, and then he opens the He opens the dumpster, and you can see that there's some sort of like explosive or something on the lid of the can, and he sort of like leans down and looks at it. He's like, "Yep, we're good." real great operation. That being said, with each of them sitting there on a little padded like rack of its own, is a set of what would definitely appear to be exactly what you're looking for.
I'll take, if I can, I like to like pick one of them up and like look it over, inspect it.
So you're taking it and look at it, and he gets this grin on his face and holds open the side of his jacket, and he has all of these magazines, just like row upon row of magazines in his like the inner pockets of his coat.
Does the gun look okay? For
It
being
does.
sold in the back alley?
It's a little like extra oily or greasy still. Like it looks like he may have taken it out of the shipping crate from the manufacturing place. He smiles. He's like, they really have to cut their losses when they can't sell them anymore.
Indeed. But that's what happens when you have a nanny state, right? Fucking government and everything. Just trying to keep the law-abiding citizens down. Samson's gonna reach into like his, I guess, coin pouch or whatever, and give him the coin along with a little extra for a couple magazines.
Okay. We'll do math after session's over. How's that sound?
Yeah, we'll take care of it.
That reminds me. Do I have to have purchased a whole bunch of magazines and so on for my guns during character gen?
No.
Okay.
No, we're kind of operating under the assumption for that that it's sort of like with food, or generally with, yes, you have rations, yes, you have ammunition, and it's sort of whatever you actually make, there's money already deducted out that you've budgeted for that equipment.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure, because that was one of the few things that like I did not do.
Mm-hmm. It's more knowing how many rounds in a magazine you have, so you can take your reload action at the appropriate time.
What else you got? You wouldn't happen, I know you got some tag shit. You have a DMR-18 here, maybe?
Nah, not enough use for it around here.
Figure.
I do have some explosives, though. Well, I will. You'll have to come back.
What kind of stuff?
Well, maybe you can help me find out. I don't know yet.
Okay. Tell me about them. I deal in information.
Well, I know they fell off the back of a particularly well-armored truck. And I'm pretty sure that they do more than just go bang.
Where would I happen to find that missing shipment?
Oh, it'll be here. Probably
Oh, well.
by the end of the day. Probably ready to check them out tomorrow. Can't miss the poker game, you know.
I'll talk to my friends. I think I may have an interested buyer. Provided this, I'll hold up the submachine gun, works as intended. You may have
Oh, it
more
should
coin
work.
coming for you.
Should work just fine.
Right.
I mean, they make them. They can make them properly.
I'll see you around.
Yes, hopefully.
That Samson's going to make his way out. Slowly. Casually.
Casually cradling a new SMG.
Probably tucking
Right.
it into his cloak just so that way the average people on the street can't see him carrying an ostensibly illegal
yeah.
submachine gun.
Yep, probably a good plan.
then I'm
Alright,
gonna
So
bit more.
I dragged the new guy like just one street over to basically just be out of sight. And then as soon as we get there, I'll like let go of his collar, but say, "Listen, we don't always approach things from the most direct angle,
Oh,
but that was our way of finding out whether he actually had some items so we could take them off the market. Sometimes you have to play dirty in order to get things done."
Oh, I understand. Oh, sorry about that. I did warn you I'm not bright as tool in the shed.
That's all right. You'll get there. We'll familiarize with each other's methods, and things will flow smoother after a little while. It looks like Samson may have salvaged that. We'll find out in a minute when he rejoins us, but
Yeah, I'll try not to do that again.
much appreciated. But no harm done, I don't think.
How hard will he try not to do that again, though?
Now that you guys have actually pointed that out to him, he won't do it again in this
Sweet.
situation. If it ends up in another, if we end up in a similar situation later on down the road, so like when I say later on, like a couple days from now in game, maybe then he'll forget about this, but he won't forget about it today.
Well, that's reassuring.
Once I
Are we gonna
once I
have
like
to like every morning just go through a ritual of
What
we do
not
this
to do.
thing and we do that thing and these are fine.
So yeah, I'm not an absolute idiot, but I am not. I will do stupid shit every now and then, depending on my private roles. As I said, I did like 2 roles there because we underwent 2 different situations where my character might have said something stupid, and I just rolled really shittily on the second one. I was like, I have to now say something stupid now.
So once I get
So-
far enough away from the alley that like I'm reasonably sure, I think Samson is familiar with tradecraft. He'd know if he was being followed. Once Samson is reasonably sure he's not being followed, he's gonna jump on the radio and contact the others.
I
Okay.
guess I will tune into their radio frequency.
Yeah, you guys meet back up without any problems. Fun fact, you were so close to not making the challenge roll and having a whole bunch of nonsense happen. But good for you, you didn't. Yay.
Okay. Once I get back to the group. Alright guys, look what I got. I'll pull out the submachine gun. Just like keep it with mostly in my cloak, but just show that I've got it.
Ooh.
Oh.
Looks
All
like
right.
that dumbass meant what he said. But evidently, he's stupid enough that he would take a creature that he's never seen at his word. His loss, not mine. But I learned something really. From what he told me, some of his little scumfuck buddies intercepted a shipment of explosives of some kind. From what he said, they do a little bit more than just your standard fragmentation. He says that he might have some tomorrow. I think we should come back, see what he's got, and then bust this dumbass. Make him squeal. And then we pivot off of him and start taking down the rest of the operation.
I agree, especially if it's in the hands of someone like him who'd give it out to just any schmuck on the street. That's really dangerous.
Indeed. Yes, he's not a very good judge of people.
I stand there nodding my head as if I understand.
For now, I suppose the time is ours. What do we do next? Should we find some lodging nearby?
Well, you guys are. There is one more thing further down the street, further down Electric Tapestry. You're supposed to meet the contacts to get any sort of leads or information they may have. They set their meeting place to be the Illustrious Noose, which is at the far end. The illustrious Noose being. I actually
That's a
had this
fucking
bookmarked.
ominous name. That's a
It
fucking.
is.
That's ominous.
You guys want to make some rolls? See what you might know about it.
Sure.
I'm just kind of been telling you about everything, but I think I should
what
see if you guys
history?
What type of role?
Yes, this would be a history check.
Oh, glorious! A -1. Thank you very much.
Did you see this roll that I just did just now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Good.
It is average.
And 2 stunt points. Yeah. I figured Samson doesn't really come around this part of town, like, ever.
Rolling dice. Rolling dice.
Wow, okay.
I did not do terrible.
Wow.
Woohoo!
Amelia. Look at that, Charlie. Holy
Charlie knows everything about nooses.
shit. Illustrious
Everything.
ones.
I was gonna say, especially being so proficient with whips. Maybe she knows all sorts of knotcraft.
You don't know.
That's such a weird name for, like, is it an inn?
So,
It sounds like a bar, a dive
It's
bar.
it's a bar in down. This bar is downwind of the dump, and it's actually in the book. This is the one that's
Nice.
actually there. I have so many cool names I have come up with or found that are other ones you may see,
Mm-hmm.
but we're starting with the one that's in the book.
So, Charlie, what makes it illustrious? Is it, like, bedazzled, or...
Yeah, kind of a weird name, right?
Muted. You're muted.
I am muted. I have no fucking clue.
DM, what do I know
Alright.
about the illustrious news?
Well, with your nat 20, the first thing I'm going to do is just read it everything exactly as it says here, which is, of all the rough places in Karavi, this is probably the roughest. This bar is downwind of the city dump. The noose allegedly got its name when a former Bureau of Utilities chief declared that if you were desperate enough to go there, you might as well just hang yourself. They claim to serve some of the most potent potables in the city, some made from industrial lubricants. Thus, it's a popular stop for the young and reckless who dare each other to consume the noose's questionable drinks.
I say all that.
Alright, so I guess it's an illustrious drink selection.
Don't drink
Oh,
lubricant,
yes.
kiddies. It's not good for your health.
And with your magical 20, you also know that there are drinks on the menu that are tolerable. There are ones that at least some races can handle, but it will definitely make you sick. And you'll probably won't keep them down for long. And there are drinks on their list that will probably kill you, at least if you drink very much of it.
Sounds fun. I'll tell them that as well. In a joyful manner.
Well, it's been a while since I stretched out my metaphorical constitution. But then again, we've got work tomorrow, so I'll probably play it safe.
Oh, don't worry, Silverton. I'll be your designated driver.
Ah, but who will be your designated crasher?
You know, that's right. I can't have you getting sloppy on me. I can't have any of you getting sloppy. I say as I look directly at Horace. Let's go, shall we? Also, minor thought for you guys. I'm thinking I might want to stay a little bit by the sidelines in this interaction. I think I may have accidentally created an underworld persona for myself with that little interaction back there. And I'm not sure if they know about the informants. I figured they don't, but just in case, I'd rather not risk it. I hope you don't mind me being a little bit of Subrosa during that. I'll be there, just, you know, not. And then Samson will turn invisible, but still follow the group.
Cool. I'll just kind of quietly say, good idea. Doesn't hurt to be one step ahead of the competition.
So, when Samson does this, there's somebody that's walking by. They clearly got a bottle of something in their hand, and they're like, when he just up and vanishes, they, like, suddenly they like with a start, and they like stumble around for a second, and they're like, and he just sort of keeps walking on, but the guy like almost fell over when just one of his reference points just vanished on him. So clearly he's had a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to this bar and it is a dive for sure. It makes you a little uneasy because you passed plenty of other places, whether they be little coffee shop like things, bars or whatever. They all looked better than this. Also, the air over around here could just sort of, you can taste the air. It's just kind of like, it's not very pleasant. The more of the people in this area look rough, or their clothes look rough, or they have scars, or heads down, walking by. They're not even looking at each other. Some of them. It's probably not the greatest part of town. Kind of strange to be. Why was this the meeting place chosen? But you guys step in, and there isn't much music. There's some sort of backing music, but it's pretty. It's in the background. There's really not much point to it. There are not loud parties. There's not people talking loudly. Everybody's just sort of quietly doing their own thing in different areas of the bar. There's two people directly at the bar as opposed to seated at the tables or benches, and they have one drink between the two of them that they're taking these like minute little sips of and passing the same glass like back and forth. And every time they take it, it looks like they get a cold shiver, like they twitch, and they're just like straight faced with like glaring at each other, going back and forth with the drink. And it's green, like drinks are normal colors like they are in real life here, so like vivid green is probably not a healthy drink. Looking for somebody who resembles your contacts based off of the description you're supposed to have of them. You're not spotting anyone at first. They didn't actually give you pictures of the informants, of those agents, because they weren't actually sure what exactly they'd look like to be in cover, but it's more, there's just going to be two of them. They're going to be sitting on the same side of a bench seat. One of them's going to have a hat. One of them... Huh?
I was gonna say, do you want us to make perception rolls for this?
That would be good, yes.
All right. At least Darwin has his eyes open.
But,
Just to make myself.
yeah, you guys really shouldn't drink tonight.
Oh man.
Yeah, we really shouldn't drink. It won't help us.
No, you drink and half of you'd be dead. But that's like the safest drink on the menu. I don't understand.
Horace rolled a 19 at least.
Yeah.
Why is the
Yeah.
safest drink on the menu gasoline?
Oh shit.
Because that would at least start your car.
So Jake, this is where Uncle Bourbon was supposed to come in. I see.
No, I just thinking about him randomly, but that would actually be pretty good. Another time.
Oh, gasoline, you say? That sounds delicious.
Always did like the smell of that.
I didn't know that Goofy was our party member.
I'm trying to go for a British accent.
That's
Sometimes-
British!
Feels more
Sometimes you
like
nail
a
it.
hillbilly.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you nail it. Sometimes you sound like a hillbilly, and sometimes you sound like Goofy.
Oh my god.
I'm not a very good I'm not a very good British accent.
I'd be...
Well, it doesn't help you're trying to be like a gruff British accent. It just kind of compounds the problem.
I'm trying to make it sound as totally not what you'd expect from a tiny little like child-sized person as possible. Like you expect a tiny little squeaky voice from this little person. Instead, you get this like deep, gruff voice, and you're just like, this makes me uncomfortable.
All right, yeah, you are a halfling. That's fair. Okay, so, well, Horace like immediately spots him. It's like that's him, right? And it was like pointing at the rest of you. He's like that's him, right? And sort of like you're like it's totally him, and you want to make sure to ask everybody to confirm. And in doing so, you're just like,
I do that, but I don't do anything super stupid.
yeah,
Like, is that the contact from
exactly, yeah,
our
yeah.
job, like type deal? No, I say, is that the guy we're looking for?
Once he's pointed out, I'll look over, see if that seems to match the description.
Okay, sorry, you just have to give me 2 seconds.
I need to go to the
Everybody's been turning off their video, and then mine's still on and Amelia's is on, and I just glanced up and realized it. And then I watched it.
And she's trying to eat her kitten's paws. Yeah, it's great.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm eating dinner right now, which is what mine is off. But yeah, no, I absolutely understand why.
I'm sorry, my internet
went
cannot
off track.
I cannot understand. My internet cannot handle me streaming video right now for some reason.
It's fine. It's just I don't even have a problem with doing that. I mess around with my dogs. Maybe I don't necessarily bite their feet, but they're dogs. But like I'll mess around with them and do stupid stuff like that. I just wasn't ready.
Sorry.
And the cat was just like, what? Ah! Oh no! Alright. Anyways, yes, so Horace, you immediately spot him. Points it out to everybody, and Charlie's like, are you sure it's not like why can't it be that guy? And it's like, well, it's obviously not that guy. And she's like, well, I know, but okay. Everybody's been made aware, and it's like, all right, cool, let's go right up and talk to him. Or, approach them and sit down on the opposite side of the bench. And the two look at you guys, and one goes, well, they sent quite a lot of you for this assignment, didn't they? And they're like the one finished the other guy's sentence.
That's right, they did.
Is this everyone?
We've got one more wandering around, but we'll fill him in.
No need. We'll take care of it. And with that statement, they both draw weapons and level them at you guys. They both have sidearms and have leveled them at you.
Well, that's not very nice.
I'm just gonna.
Is this initiative
I'm gonna
now?
lower my voice so that hopefully just they and the people at the table can hear, and say, "Tell me right now if this is an act. Otherwise, your faces are going to be pulled."
Interesting that he makes threats while we point the guns at him.
Cool, shotgun time.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna pull out a shotgun and shoot at both of them.
Okay.
No one gets to threaten me and live.
They were not expecting you to do that, to be honest. So,
Okay.
Let's make a shot. Actually, you know what? They kind of, sort of were. I'm gonna have you guys make dex saving throws, all of you sitting at the table. But yes, you can make your shot as well. So you have 2 actions to do.
Okay. So an initiative check or a dex save?
Dex save.
Just a dex saving throw, and you're gonna whip out and take a shot at them. So just make an attack.
Okay, so I'll do my dex save first.
I just realized with the build that I've done, I've got 4 different saving throws that have a +5 to them.
Jeez.
So there's my dex save, which is bad because I don't do dex. And then my attack with the shotgun. 13.
Okay. Would everybody else do a dex saving throw as well?
I already did mine.
Yeah.
I figured that
did
I
not
wasn't
wait.
sitting at the table.
Yeah.
I am an idiot.
So starting with Connor's 19,
Okay.
I believe those are dex saves.
Well, congratulations. None of you crit failed.
I mean, I
Eric.
almost did. 1, 2,
Very
1.
close.
It was real close.
You should be glad you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this is going to be interesting. So you basically pull out your shotgun and take a shot, and the pellets pass right through them and tear through the seating behind them, and they like flicker really badly, like a hologram that you've disrupted the display of. Meanwhile, they had fired laser blasts, but they reacted as if they were actually there, and both of their shots went wide. One of them like singed past your ear, and those did not seem to be holographic. That sounded like well, you can almost smell like singed hair. It's like, oh, that was the ionization of laser. That was definitely a laser blast. But after you fire, and they've fired as well, the image doesn't resolve after your bullets have gone through. The image actually degrades and it fizzles out and they're gone. They were never sitting there.
While that
How do
happens, do I see anything else? Anyone else moving? Anyone else watching in the bar? I'm assuming that I'm like standing in like the corner of the room, away from everyone else.
I think Jake's dead.
Is he?
Yeah.
The bartender's gone. He's like not even behind the counter anymore. One of the two green juice drinkers is passed out on the table, and the other one, you can't tell if he's laughing or crying or both. And he seems completely oblivious to what's going, or to the fact you discharged a weapon. The rest of the people seated in the room are all looking at you. Every single person.
I'm gonna go back behind the bar and try and find the bartender. Still invisible.
I'm gonna just kind of loudly say to the room at large, "What? They pulled the guns first."
Silverton, there's no one there.
Except I imagine they would have seen the hologram at least for a moment and maybe thought, oh yeah, that dude's a moron.
Yeah, it took time for it to fizzle out.
Yeah, I'm fine with
but-
them thinking I'm a moron. But
Yeah.
Okay.
But everyone's still looking at you.
I want to
Or
look to
looking
see
at
if
the
there's
people at the
any
table.
other. I'm gonna look to see if there's any other guns pulled out in the room.
Make a perception check.
At 11.
There's shiny stuff under the table, but it could be bling bling, it could be blades, it could be guns, it could be drawn, they could be not. The tension in the room is palpable.
I was hoping to find the smoking gun.
I'm gonna get up, very obviously put the gun away, and then I'm gonna just leave through the front door.
Okay. All right. So you stand up, and you're like, putting it away, and you stand up to, fully sling it or whatever you're gonna do, so you can walk out.
Mm-hmm.
And as you stand up and start to do that, they stand up and start to do the opposite. They're pulling pipes, crowbars, weapons. One of them's palms are starting to glow. They all seem to be very intent on taking you and everyone at the table on. Roll for initiative.
Oh boy, time to get my city combat music. I'm so excited. I've been holding on to these songs since the start of this campaign. How fun.
Oh man, now I have to do things. Can we just end it on a cliffhanger? Let's see.
We still have a half hour.
Yeah, that we do. It's gonna look like shit though. I'm gonna have to like draw this by hand. But it'll magically look better tomorrow or next week when I have time to work on it.
Mhm.
Not tomorrow.
I mean, we could pause.
Oh, shoot, I
Generally,
forgot to-
combat stuff tends to take a fair amount of time. I'd be surprised if we can get to a resolution in half an hour.
Probably not, just because there's somewhere between like 8 and 15 people in here. Leaning towards 15, so I'm thinking like 12 to 15 people.
Yeah, I think it's like it's possible, but given how long combat usually takes, it's not very likely.
Yeah.
So I'd say, especially if you feel like having more time to map things out, then
Indeed,
let's
if you
wait.
guys are okay with it, because I can. It will look like nothing, but I can throw the grid out and have people out. But it may not look that much better next time. But this is the
I
last
think
part that I can do today. So
I think the only reason I'd want to continue is because I'm not going to be here next week, and I want to see how my character handles some combat.
That is a fair point.
indeed. All right. Maybe I'll just draw it over the. I could draw it over this or something. No, I'll probably
I
just.
do
make
love
it
the
a
fact
sheet.
that my average roll has still put me first on the initiative list in the party.
You got that.
You have a +7 to your
Yeah.
initiative. That's
I have a +5 dex, plus I also have a modifier where I add my when I'm using a rifle, I add a light rifle. I add a +2 to my dex, or my initiative.
So I named this map and then I mistyped it. So instead of the illustrious noose, it was the illustrious nose for a minute.
Hmm.
The best of typos. Okay, let's open up an area then. The pristine white floor stretches out before you.
it's surprisingly clean in here.
Yeah. Drag your people into the empty space there.
I'm just going to use my golem as my token.
Okay,
I
that will do for the time being.
don't want to drag everyone. There we go.
We'll stick a character stat sheet in there for you and get that at least
Yeah.
partially.
I'll set up your token after this.
I am big
Forgot.
It was splash.
I even specifically shrunk you down to be in one grid square and then told it to save as token, and for whatever reason it always blows you up to 4 squares instead of 1. I don't know why.
Because I'm big woman.
You have big woman.
No,
It's a
Well.
condition. Alright. Ooh, this is not snapping like I thought it was going to. Alright, now none of you can see anything, and you're all dead.
And the ceiling collapsed on us and we died.
Yep. I threw it to the map layer, but I'm gonna have to change the color because currently the color is the same as the grid, so you can't see the grid. So let's darken it up a shade. There we go. All right. So let me see. We got a bunch of us. I'm sorry,
having
you
the
can no longer be the big woman.
From having the character with the least health, I am now the character with the most health.
Oh yeah, you're tanky. You're a big old fighter, man.
I just find that funny that my character went from the weakest paper mache character you could possibly encounter to I could probably take more hits than the rest of the party. That's if anything can freaking hit me.
All right, since you were
Have
gonna
we had a short rest since we drove into
We had a-
town and also watched Styx's thing and stuff?
We had a long rest just before we entered the town.
yeah, you guys had a long rest when you started today's session.
Okay.
So,
Cool beans.
all right. Here's this. Let me get some black so I can just draw lines real quick.
I love the fact that Charlie and myself are sharing a space. Doesn't matter because I am tiny. I am essentially
Aw,
a
how
child. Size-wise, I am essentially a child. So it looks like the party's just dragging around this child that has been through some shit.
I mean, people have seen halflings before.
Yeah. We walk into a town no one has ever seen a halfling before. Why does that child look like he's been through the war?
What did you do to that poor child? You don't get out much, do you?
What have you people been doing to that child? I nudge one of the other characters. Oh, they're calling you a child.
He has the mental acuity of one, basically.
Alright. This is almost done, fortunately. Although I'm gonna have to use a generic bad guy emblem again, probably.
That's fine. And I am currently using my I pulled out my IR-22, not my SBR-5. More damage and don't need the extra range.
Alright, so the only other thing is the door and the bar. The bar is over here. And is actually going to go that far. There we go.
I don't know if we're supposed to be able to see the bar. Okay.
Oh, apparently I have to grab that whole thing. Yeah, so the illustrious noose is just great. There's no way to get over the bar. You actually have to climb over it.
Ah, yes. Pretty surprising the bartender got away. I'm assuming there are like doors back here though, like on the backside.
Yes.
I mean, Samson's probably gonna abandon the idea and how that shit's happening, but just for future reference.
There's your little door marker. I guess I could put a line across them, huh? Doors. Or TIE fighters, your choice. Whatever you want to call them.
Ah, yeah. Ryan would be.
Alright, there you go. Now we just need our little bad guy symbol of some sort. Ooh. I promise all of the villains don't look the same and they aren't always wearing black cloaks. But they are today. So there were 3 over there. And they're all looking at you because time and because, of course, they're all looking at you. So these guys are really packed in this one. But yeah, they basically all look like they're ready to come after you.
Oh yes, I should probably also note I did take the feat sharpshooter, which basically implies you can't use penalties for cover on me.
Of course, it's up to his discretion ultimately. Because
Yeah.
I did use that feat when we were fighting in the underground, and there were still targets that would still be difficult to shoot. But at least
Yeah.
for most normal cover, yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, it was helpful in some way. Alright, well, there's all the enemies. I'm ignoring the people at the bar because they're out of the way and they're not going to be influencing anything, and I'm done drawing stuff. So,
All the people at the bar are passed out due to alcohol poisoning.
yeah. Alright, I'm going to add you guys to the turn order. Make your appropriate initiatives once I do, and then I'll sort it.
You can just drag over the numbers you roll. You can just click and drag them.
Advanced. Yeah, but I have to click on every single one of you guys to add it, which is why
I know.
Yeah,
we
we
can
can
do
do
it
that.
too.
Oh, okay.
Except I apparently can't do that for my golem. Of course I can't. Oh no, I can. It let me.
I used thaumaturgy to make all of the windows fly open.
Yes,
understood that
Jester.
reference. It's Jester. Hi, I am Jester. You're gonna start drawing dicks on the tables now.
Amy.
I feel like it might be a little late for that, but if you want to sit this fight out, I mean, go
Just
right ahead.
everybody's battling, blood everywhere, dicks. on the
Yeah,
doors.
it's like the opening to Guardians 2, except instead of Baby Groot dancing, it's just you drawing little dicks everywhere.
She is our baby Groot.
Oh boy.
I have the intelligence of a child, but she is our baby Groot.
Silverton and Darvin, what's your dex?
Mine is 0.
Mine is +1. So
Congratulations, you have an initiative score of 15.1.
nice.
Moving up in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no problem with Samson being able to elect his position post facto because he's going last, so... Alright,
I'm
well,
surprised.
conveniently, Horace, you get to test out your equipment first. Yes, you're all kind of jam-packed, 3 people in 2 spaces. Deal with it.
Okay.
The world is not a grid. The world is not Minecraft.
Yes. I'm going to take my first shot at this guy because I can attack twice during my turn.
Okay.
So here's my first attack roll. Does a 14 hit this one?
Yes.
Okay. This would be an energy shot. 7 points of energy damage.
All right. Oh, I forgot. Roll20 doesn't do complex math. And you'd probably like to see that health bar, huh?
It would be nice being able to know how much of the health bar I chipped off.
It was supposed to be there, and I was confused why it wasn't, but I see now why it wasn't. There we go.
With my almost trashed here damage roll.
Indeed. But these guys would appear to be the definition of scum and villainy, because they didn't really... He took a pretty good beating there.
Brett, quick question. Center mass. Can I use that as part of my second attack action? Or does it take a full action to do that?
You can apply it to any attack made with the rifle. You
Okay.
should only use it like twice per long rest. So.
Yeah, I know that. I'm going to attack the same guy again.
That's
As
a
a
hit.
12.
Let's see... Yes.
Okay, I'm applying center mass to it. Which, let me just quickly pull up the rules in center mass.
Oh boy, the way of the rifleman. I'm so happy. I'm nerd now. It's a brand new class I made. I'm so happy.
Yes, so center mass. You hit the target straight in center mass, knocking the air out of them. The target is stunned until the end of their next turn.
Okay.
And then I've also got to roll damage.
So I can basically just cross him
Wow.
out. He can't do anything this turn, can he?
Yes, and he takes 12 points of energy damage.
Okay. He's at half a heart. Convenient. Anything else from you, or is that it?
That'll be it from me. Takes a full action to reload my gun, so not
All right,
gonna work
Darvin,
hard.
you are up.
Alright, I'm gonna target this space or thereabout and cast Fireball.
Fireball.
Oh yeah!
Which affects everyone within 30 feet of the point.
Get him!
So not this guy, not us, and not anyone up there, but the guy in the corner of that booth. Can you guys see this like line?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah,
that guy, and everyone in this booth
Okay.
Get
all
him!
have to make.
Now you
dex
understand.
saves.
Now you understand why I loved Fireball so much.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. Oh,
It's
So
broken.
this.
so delicious.
You can't
Uh,
use it very often,
yeah.
but it is brokenly powerful.
yeah. I think in this case, with a full room of guys, it's worth the spell slot.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Generally, if it
I'm
hits
gonna-
more than 4 people, it
These
is
guys
worth
already have their settings set, so I'm gonna swap these guys out here.
Okay.
it. So
What you need to do?
yeah, Jacob, I'd say if you're hitting more than 4 people with the spell, it is worth the spell slot.
Mm-hmm. And I'm definitely hitting more than 4 in this case.
All right.
So let me see. That's 3d6 fire damage. They all have to make dex saves. Let me find. Where's my spell save DC? Like, where's that written?
He should be at the top
That
of
that should be your spell modifier plus your It should be.
It's
8 plus proficiency plus your spellcasting attribute.
Modifier.
just willpower and your
So they have to beat a 15.
Nice. Darvin's very wise.
That's all I have to say is uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
If they fail, they take 12 fire damage, and if they succeed, they take 6 fire damage. I rolled all 4s.
I rolled 2 4s on my second attack, but I already had a +4 on my attack modifier.
I promise you're gonna have to deal with less swarmy and tougher enemies instead, or at least tougher enemies. They may still be a little swarmy occasionally. Oh, but this is not that time.
Fireball is also a concentration type spell, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's not. It's instantaneous.
No, because it's just instantaneous.
I thought that was one of the concentration ones. Oh.
No.
I'm thinking of D&D's Fireball. D&D's Fireball is a concentration one.
No,
I
it's
just
not.
take
It's
it.
a duration of instantaneous. You can't concentrate on an instantaneous spell. It just happens.
Which one's the one that generates a ball of fire that floats around for?
You talking about firewall?
That's called Ball
No.
of Fire.
Oh, ball of
It's-
fire.
Yeah.
Same name, different pronunciation.
Yeah, that one is a concentration spell. That one's a conjuration spell instead of an evocation spell. Like, oh my god, don't even get started on D&D shit.
Anyway, I didn't do that. I just made the room explode.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Nice one, Darvin! Says nothing. The empty space behind the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Alright, is it Silverton's turn? Or are you
Yes,
gonna move? You might be moving.
I'm gonna move a little further away just in case they come at me. But
I'm probably short enough to use the seat as cover. I'm probably
But yeah.
sitting on the seat and they can barely see the top of my head.
Yeah,
turn.
probably. All right, Silverton, you're up.
Alright, perfect. So I'll stand up and walk over here. Let's see here. Actually stand right here, kind of face this way, and use my shotgun to shoot at all three at this table.
Okay.
And there's a 17 to hit.
That hits.
Ah, yeah. Okay, so they'll each take 3 damage. And then I'll shoot him again. And I get a 12 on the second shot.
Okay, let's see. Still hits.
Oh, perfect.
I'm guessing they're not all wearing armor.
And that'll take an additional 8.
Okay, let me do some math real quick and we'll. I mean, no real surprise with that one guy.
Oh, I totally forgot I even critted on one of mine. Or I got stun points, but I didn't use them, and I didn't realize I'd gotten stun points. But that's fine.
Oh wait, he may be dead, but he's still stunned, so there's a stun effect. He's stunningly dead.
Yeah, no. When I was originally thinking of a sniper light rifle combo, I was gonna take headshot instead, which destroys head armor and deals shit tons of extra damage. But I decided not to.
All right, are you good, Silverton? Are we good to move to Charlie?
Yep.
All right. Charlie, combat time is up.
Charlie stands up in the booth and is like, I've never been in a bar fight before. Proceeds to turn around, walk over the seat, if it's just like a booth
Yeah, you can.
chair, onto the table, and whips him
Nice.
with the whip. It's gonna be good. Good stuff.
Hit him! Get him!
Whack!
The guy in the corner here that doesn't have a health bar yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go
A
make
nice
one,
meaty
Jake.
whack.
get to work.
Get to work so that
Slave.
she can kill him,
Work,
and then
slave.
it will be pointless.
For my merriment.
That'll be a 16 to hit.
That hits. Now waiting for you to just like floor him with damage.
I wish. That'll be 13 points of bludgeoning damage.
Not bad. Not bad.
No, it's pretty good. That hurt a lot.
That paladin punch!
And then with my second attack, I'm gonna turn to the guy to her left, but the guy on the other side of the booth, and whip
The one
him!
with-
So basically just swiping across both of them, trying to smack both their faces.
Okay.
Make him feel a little bit of pain. That's a 19 to hit!
Oh boy.
That hits so hard.
Hopefully. Yes, if I could type. That'll be 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Big
And
ouch.
then swiped across them. I can talk, I promise. And she's like, yeah! That's it. That's so she's done.
All right. Great. Now it's the scum's turn. You didn't kill enough of the scum. I have to give them all weapons still.
Quick question, Brett.
Yes.
It's still a bonus action to switch between weapons, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. That'll be important. And if you do that in like, can you do that in the middle of a combat action? So if I like have 2 attack actions for 1 attack action, can I switch midway through if I'm out of ammo in my one gun to my other gun to take my second shot?
Yes.
Or is that not allowed?
You can do that as long as you have ammunition, of course, in the next gun you switch to, and you keep track of them.
Yes.
Perfectly legal.
I just carry 2 light rifles. One's energy, one's ballistic. So...
Yeah, I know. I saw your character sheet.
I
Thank you for
figured
sending that to me, by the way. I appreciate it.
I had the extra silver. I figured I'd send it to you to make sure that I didn't leave anything out or didn't forget to adjust anything on it. Because I literally just took Styx's sheet and modified it to fit Horace's sheet.
Okie dokie. I just need to double check the melee sheet for the melee weapons to see if there's sort of improvised weapon as an option. Because I do not remember.
Based it off of like a club or shillelagh, maybe?
Yeah.
Unless it has like spikes or shit. You can probably be able to draw like a direct comparison between things.
Indeed. I was just an idiot and closed the sheet when I still needed it, so now I have to reopen it.
Nerf the damage a little bit compared to like a real bona fide weapon. Like there's a sledgehammer in there that's like an actual like tool.
Indeed. Ah, here it is. Perfect. Would you like to open this? No, I just clicked on it because I thought it'd be funny.
A great joke.
I'm hilarious. Neat. Okay. Composition compiled. Let's do this. So we got this guy right here who's going to charge forward and try and beat Silverton to death with a pipe. Because that's worked for him in the past in his gang career.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Or living in the slums, or whatever his issue seems to be.
This guy's gonna sign his own death warrant.
When you hope that you'll copy paste GM roll and it pastes -12 instead, and you cry inside.
If he rolls a -12, that's fine by me.
Yep, that means that he rolled a 12 against himself, which hits, and he dies.
Haha!
And now I've written 3d6 plus 12. I apparently can't talk about numbers while I'm doing things. Okay.
Apparently he's really, really good at hitting things with an old pipe.
Alright, does a 15 hit?
Yes.
He is good at hitting things with a pipe.
Well, Silverton should
No.
only have a 10 defense. Because he has a
That's
0
correct.
modified.
But I've
'Cause
got
he has-
some pretty good armor.
Yeah, well, he has a 0 to agility, so that means, like, he is easy to hit. Doesn't mean that he takes a lot of damage, but he is easy to hit.
Yeah.
The guy deals 8 damage to you with the pipe.
My armor perfectly blocks it. I take 0.
So he just brings the pipe down and just, you like hear that like resonating echo, and he sort of looks, sort of like confused and looks at you. And he's
Yeah,
like,
my head like ever so slightly gets bent down. I just look up at him. Last chance to get out of here. And I kind of nod my head toward the door while also bringing my shotgun up to point at his face.
Silverton's gonna sublimate this poor guy in his next turn.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up is the pistol dude over here. He's gonna shoot at Darwin because
Oh,
gonna
he's
shoot
not
at
running
Darwin.
away. Okay. Well, now we know what's going to happen to him.
Flat.
Oh, let's see. Yep. Does a 12 hit Darwin?
It does.
I was really hoping you'd say no, just so that you could like miss it and be like, "Well, you guys suck." But they're
Nope, it hit.
sort of doing the good. Let's see. Seven damage.
Okay. So, with my armor, that becomes 3.
Or as Connor used to like to say, okay, with my armor that becomes 7.
Yeah.
No, Brett allowed the mages now to wear scout armor.
Mhm.
So
Indeed.
mages can now actually survive hits.
All right, let's see here.
Actually, light armor, not scout. But
Wait 1 second. I might use absorb element. Let me look at that real quick.
That's fine. I'm gonna look at stats for the shittiest shotgun that exists.
Well, yeah.
Actually,
Wait.
you know what? I might do absorb element on if someone else hits me with something more damaging, but for now I'm gonna save the spell slots. Because that was only 3 damage, so.
Yeah, no, I just realized I have like the most health and probably have the highest defense. Not the highest armor, but the highest defense in the party. You take a pot shot at the little kid, just like it was as past his head. You shooting at me? That's what happens when you have a +5 to your dex.
All right, so this guy here is gonna like woo, and he fires his shotgun into the ceiling, like intentionally. And he yells something about. He said words, but they didn't make sense. It might be some sort of code or like phrase that they yell or something. But they seem inspired by it, and they're like, "Hell yeah!" And they start yelling and really running at you. So he may.
Jake, you cut out.
May or may not have rallied them to some extent.
Yeah, you cut out there for about half
Oh.
of that.
Did you guys not hear something? Okay, he fired a shotgun into the ceiling, and it's like, "Yeehaw!" and says some stupid line, and everybody seems to love it and are inspired by it and charge forward.
Everyone now has inspiration.
Pretty much.
I hope not, because that's bullshit.
Well, hey, they gotta have some advantage where they'll never even scratch some of you. Although these guys still may not do a very good job of that. Alright, SMG range. I want to make sure we're in range here. Wouldn't want to break the rules. 35.
Also, Jake, this is something I didn't mention earlier, but is a unique attribute of what are considered fully automatic firearms. Fully automatic firearms can be fired normally up to twice on one turn. The trick is, like, even if you don't have extra actions, the trick is that each subsequent shot has a -1. You'll to fire once with a normal modifier, and then you could fire a second time with a -1.
Wow, only a -1?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if that helps this guy, because he's going to SMG it up over here.
I might want to make it bigger.
As a bullshit thing, like, yeah, would that mean that if a fighter or somebody or a paladin with their double action fired a fully automatic weapon, they could fire it up to 4 times in a single turn?
Provided it has the capacity to do it.
That's absolute bullshit. You definitely need to up that negative modifier, especially if it's a fighter or something like that.
The capacity is 7, so couldn't you just fire it 7 times? You just have a -7 modifier by the end?
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah, we might want to tweak that a little bit. But anyways,
-2 or -3.
I'm just gonna give him the ability to shoot twice, because normally he wouldn't be able to shoot twice anyways. But I'll do the negative modifier. This SMG guy's shooting at Silverton. That's a 15 on the first shot and a 9 on the second one.
Haha! Just one will hit.
Actually, on second thought, it's a 15 and an 8, so...
Okay, still just one of them.
Yep.
Not very good recoil control from this guy.
Definitely not. And he deals 10 damage.
Alright, so I will take 2.
he at least
Alright,
hit
I'm gonna
you
move
with
to the
some
two that-
damage?
Yeah, I'm gonna move to the two that Charlie just beat the hell out of. Now this guy, he's drawing a pistol, and he's gonna. Oh no. Oh no.
Did you just put a pistol up against a paladin?
Well, not only that, but he just crit failed, and he just rolled enough damage that he shot himself in the leg and hit his artery, and he died.
Wow, I see we're
Couldn't
fighting
handle what was happening.
real high.
Yeah, he panicked and went to pull the gun, and it got caught on his stupid belly or whatever, and he shoots himself in the leg, and he is now dead.
These guys need to quit while they still can.
That's embarrassing.
Uh,
Alright, the other guy's got a 13 on you. Although I should probably figure out what weapon he's attacking you with.
A 13 does hit.
Let's see. Okay, whatever it is, a crowbar, a piece of metal, we're doing the same damage as before, but that means he's got to come after you to do it. So the other guy shoots himself in the leg, but this guy comes after you, and... 8 damage?
That is exactly my armor, so it does help.
Neat.
Yeah, 8 armor squad.
I do not have 8 armor. I only have 5
Bitch.
because I could not afford to have an additional speed penalty on someone that's already moving at 25 as their base speed. It's not fun being super slow, especially seeing as I was building a scout type character.
Change my mind. He's not going that way. He's going this way. Hello, Horus. I'm going to beat you with a, what would it be? A chipped katana looking thing?
A street samurai.
Or a wannabe.
Yeah.
A mall ninja.
Oh, mall ninja. Yeah, I like that.
Oh my god, mall ninja. Ugh. 13.
Does not hit.
Shit.
I told you I have a 15 defense, so like I have ridiculously high health.
Well, I didn't remember that because everyone else has high armor and low defense. I'm shocked when I hit them
He's
sometimes.
faster than Samson is. Of course, he can't double dash, but still.
Yeah, no, Horus is.
But you also gotta
the
remember.
dexterous boy.
You also gotta remember my speed is 35 with a dex of 5 modifier. So like I'm still not I'm still probably slower than Samson overall.
Hmm.
I just have a really flexible little pipsqueak.
Yeah.
5,
Hopping around, jumping around and
10,
shit.
15, 20.
Yeah, it's weird how synchronized they are. They just move as all one big clusterfuck.
Yep.
They seem to be pretty organized for having just been lit on fire a few seconds ago.
Well, I mean,
They're probably
kind
running
of.
out of the part of the room that's on fire right now, right?
Yeah.
They all synchronized run out of the fiery part of the room.
Alright, this guy's got sharp metal, which sounds like a sword, but not entirely.
So sharp metal as in it's got a sharp point on it, or sharp metal as in it's got a sharp edge on it?
Sharp edge.
So it's a slashing, not a
So
piercing.
he's going to... Yeah, he's going to attack with slashing. Actually, here's a good question. What is Silverton's armor's weakness? Does it even have one?
Yeah, so it's 8 normally. It resists ballistic and energy damage, and it's vulnerable to lightning and piercing. It's made of nanotubes.
But we use the term piercing for.
It's
Wait,
like
so is
weak
that...
for penetrating. It's like not as cool penetrating.
Oh,
It's not slashing, which is what like blades and knives and shit do.
okay. So it's like if you pierce the armor, you really pierce it.
Yeah, kind of like. Where's the
Yeah,
damage
interesting.
types? Gosh darn it. Damage types.
So like if somebody deals something as piercing damage, it becomes penetrating damage for him.
Extreme. I guess it would be extremely sharp melee weapons. Ignores composite and soft armor types. Wait, that one already? Yep. Yeah, so it's just like a really big, intense stab.
So as a heads up to Brett and Jake, I miscounted the amount of gold I have left over. I have 10 less gold than I have registered in my inventory, because I actually also was supposed to have nanotubing as my armor.
Does a 12 hit Silverton?
Yes.
Does this attack deal any damage to you? No, it doesn't. He rolled 6. Alright, well that was interesting. There's another guy that's going to shoot at you. He's got some type of heavy pistol. Wait a minute, so anyone who shoots at you, whether it's ballistic or energy...
Has
Huh.
disadvantage.
Yeah, like ballistic damage would have to do at least 16 damage to actually do anything to me, because the nanotubes automatically like absorb it super well.
Okay, cool. He shoots and he misses. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
but he's learned his lesson. Holy cow.
Yeah. It helps investing in the best armor that I could get.
The best armor you could afford. Best armor money could buy.
Exactly.
I may have. I think I might need to revisit that. Probably gonna need to revisit this.
Yeah, probably.
Probably shouldn't
feel-
have made
I
that.
don't,
But
I
in
don't
the
know
meantime,
exactly
he
how we
enjoys
tweak
using
it,
it.
but I do think it
I
will
would-
need to get tweaked somehow.
So
Yeah.
how I'd say tweak resistance is apply your proficiency to the armor when hit with a resistant material. So as you become more skilled as a fighter, your armor slightly you can more proficiently use your armor to resist the attack coming in. So right now we would only get a +2 when hit with a weapon, an attack type that our armor is resistant to.
Not a bad idea.
That's kind of a neat idea, yeah.
Let me add that to my notes.
So that means resistance becomes better as your character becomes better, just like your saves and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Your saves and your proficiencies.
Here we go. Okay. Alright, I got everybody moved up here. That guy doesn't have that, I changed my mind. Alright, there we go. So the two guys following up after Sharp Metal guy that did nothing. I need to clarify what heavy pistol I'm talking about, because one of these guys has an MA3, which is 2d6 plus 3 piercing. However, let me see where he is. Oh, that's why. I was like, I had a guy that had that and it disappeared, but that's okay. We're good now. Don't mind me. So let's see if this guy can actually hit you. 13. This guy's shooting and he's got an MA3. It's
13 hits.
heavies. Okay, so this one is a piercing shot,
Okay.
but his weapon is kind of shitty, so it could be better than it is. It's not in very good
Is it-
repair.
Piercing halves armor and penetrating negates armor completely.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, we were in the middle of trying to attack Charlie with this guy, weren't we? Whoops. Totally missed out on that. So, does an 11 hit, Charlie?
It actually does not.
Okay, cool. Then he's just gonna sit there.
Bitch.
Hadn't this guy already attacked Charlie?
Oh,
Or was it
probably,
different
and
guy?
he probably missed. That's probably what that was. There are so many of these guys to keep track of. So there's only 2 left, and it's these guys, and they're out of range. They have melee weapons that they've got under their coats.
Okay.
So, congratulations, Samson. It's finally your turn. Sorry about the wait.
I think now I also need to review something about the railguns. I think I need to add a new type of weapon. Railguns
Also, Jake,
aren't-
I don't remember you mentioning the damage on that latest one against me that rolled the 13 to hit.
Oh,
7
it
piercing.
is 7 damage. I actually did toss that one in the chat by itself. And it's
Oh, okay. I didn't look because I didn't expect
you're
it
fine.
there.
And that's piercing
So I
damage.
effectively take 3 because my armor gets halved for that. All right, proceed.
I have to revisit it. Railguns are normally supposed to, are actually, because I was confused at the time as I was writing lists, I should be doing penetrating damage. But these guys shouldn't have access to railguns anyway. But for the sake of experimentation, continuing the spirit of,
the rail pistol. Just kidding.
yeah, we'll have to talk more about that.
Yep.
Continuing the spirit of experimentation, I'm gonna do something that I normally wouldn't do. I don't want to take a chance on it. I'm gonna use, I'm gonna attack the guy with the shotgun. I'm gonna rally people. And take him out quickly. I'm going to use part of the sharpshooter feat, which is pretty high risk. I'm going to take a -5 penalty to the attack roll, but if it hits, I do an extra +10 damage.
Whoa.
I hope this works. Also, don't forget the second L on roll. I don't want it to accidentally fuck up. Please hit. Oh!
Can't you just type /R?
Fuck you, shut up. Does a 16 hit this guy standing on top of the table?
It does, especially because he's on top of the table.
All right, let's roll that damage. That's 2d6 plus 4 is the base of the IR22.
Aren't you using a sniper?
No, I'm not. I use a light rifle.
Okay.
I did that out of principle because I didn't want to completely fuck over Jake by giving myself a super powerful weapon right off the get-go. Sniper rifles are fucking bad business. Plus 2d6 for sneak attack. I'm firing out of invisibility, plus 10. Let's see what we get. That's 28 points of energy damage.
You okay over there, Jacob?
Oh, that's beautiful.
So he's
Samson-
dead.
Yeah, Samson leans his rifle up against the counter and just lands a shot straight through the guy's head, just turning it to a
And I
flying
mean,
miss.
like, the sneak attack damage wasn't even great. But
Mm-mm.
just the fact that there were so many different sources of damage.
Mhm. It's a lot to keep track of as a rogue, but that's why you have to make sure you keep your status effects straight.
Mhm.
Actually, you know what? I'm pleased with that outcome. Because I rolled high, and that's what made me hit instead of just my attributes, because I had to sacrifice pretty much my entire modifier for that. I think it was worth it, though. Because
Yeah.
it hit.
Yikes.
Does that drop your invisibility?
Yes, it does. I'm now no longer invisible, which means that I also can't sneak attack unless I shoot the guys who are next to you guys. Or if I hide again. Ooh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my bonus
Hide
action to
behind the bar.
hide behind the bar. And that will end Samson's turn. And we should probably stop there because it's 9:20 p.m.
Indeed.
Maybe we should let Connor take his turn since it's his turn next and then stop, just because he won't be here.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Okay.
Do it to him.
I'm going to shoot this guy with my first shot. I'm actually going to do the same thing Samson did. doing the special modifier.
Okay.
So are 2d6 plus 1d6 plus 2. And of course, my numlocks was deactivated, so now I've got to type that all out again.
Huh. And a
That's
lot of good
why-
/R did you there, did it, huh?
Does an 11 hit?
It does not.
Oh man. Well, I'll take my second shot against him. Not doing that.
Okay.
Does a 19 hit?
Yeah.
I
Four
have
stun
4
points.
stun points. I've got to pull up the stunt list.
Ooh, we actually have a fighter for once. You can use the new fighter stuff.
Yeah, you
Fighter
get to use
stunts.
my rules.
Yay.
There's no good fighter stunts that I want to use right now.
There
No
are
offense,
there's still
Bray.
like pierce armor from combat, but
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It's just kind of I don't have any particularly great looking stunts right there or right then. I'm actually going to use setup on him. I'll use setup and defensive stance. Add +2 to my defense. Add +2 to the next attack against my target for my 4 stun points. Here's my energy damage. 12. 12 to this guy over
Alright.
here. I am then going to use my my action surge to attack again. I'm going to attack him using my sharpshooter ability. And that means I get an extra +2 against him. Does a 14 hit this time?
Yes.
Okay. That would be energy, and then add 10, so that's 23 points of energy damage against him. And then,
Cool. He's 1.5 times dead.
for my bonus action, I switch to my other light rifle to shoot at this guy with my final attack. And does 16 hit?
Yes.
He takes 12 points of damage.
Nice.
And that means my energy weapon is now out of ammo until I reload it. And my ballistic weapon has 4 more rounds left. And that is the end of my turn. And I
Right.
didn't even need to use lucky feature. I assume sharpshooter does not have a limit because it did not mention it in the stunt.
yeah,
That it has a limit on how many times you can use it because
Yeah,
it
you can use
gives
it.
you a penalty.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was fun. I think I did pretty good. I think my character is not terrible.
Indeed.
I think Jake is hating the fact that I have such ridiculously high defense.
Oh, I've been carefully crafting, and so seeing you guys in combat one last time before I introduce the newer, better enemies, it's gonna be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Just becoming closer and closer to the bosses I created for Jake. Every time we clown on his enemies, you just get another bit closer.
Yep.
All
You're
right.
you're gonna encounter the actual challenge coming up here. Chaos cultists are easy picking. So's the scum here. Not
Right.
everybody's a pushover.
Well, everyone,
Yeah.
thank you for watching, and we'll see all you guys next week on Titansgrave.
Except for
Chapter 2.
me.
Except for Con.